It's a high, deep drive into left field, and this ball is long gone. Safe, he got under the tag.
One hop the wall and it lands for a double.
Want to ride into deep left field, and this ball is gone. Falmouth is going to the Western Division Final.
Hello and welcome back to Eldredge Park. For the second night in a row, the Falmouth Commodores will be taking on the Orleans Firebirds. Daniel LaRose joined alongside David Korzenowski. David, last night a very successful win for the Doors, 6-1 over Orleans. The Bats came alive in a game where didn't need too much run support, but it's nice that they got it.
Yeah, I think it was one of the most well-rounded wins of the summer. The pitching was great, the fielding was great, but really the offense came alive. 5 RBIs on 3 home runs. One of their runs was unearned on a wild pitch, but we saw Tawa go deep for the first time this summer, Barron for the 5th time, and then that first home run coming from Blake Dunn, his first of the summer as well.
Yeah, Blake Dunn absolutely annihilated a baseball in the 5th inning, proved to be the game's winning runs, and Blake is talking with our own Katie Florio to talk about his success and the team's success. Katie. Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Blake. So another thing I wanted to talk about with Blake Dunn in particular and all these guys was the defense yesterday.
Yeah.
So good. They committed that one error, but they had multiple outfield assists, couple of great double plays turned, one on a liner back to the pitcher. This team was just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, even with that one error, I mark it as the best defensive game the Commodores have played all summer because the error was on the first play of the game. It was just a drop ball over at first base. The outfield assists were unbelievable. It's rare that you see one of those in a game, never mind 2. And a great play by Robleski late in his outing to preserve his 5-inning shutout.
During this 8-game winning streak, we have been harping on how the starting pitching has been so dominant. But again, yesterday seems like the defense started to come in and the power started to come in. But speaking of starting pitching, today we've got a great matchup between Carmen Machinsky for the Doors and Jared Schuster for the Firebirds.
Yeah, we were scrolling on Twitter and we saw some retweets from some scouts. They are all going to be here tonight. This is the matchup of the night on the Cape. You got Carmen Machinsky, who's got a sub-3 ERA and is now in the top 3 in the Cape League in strikeouts, going up against another all-star, or an all-star I should say, for the Orleans Firebirds and Jared Schuster. He's got a 1.66 ERA. One thing about him too, he's a lefty, and the Commodores have a little bit more trouble hitting left-handers. It's going to be a low-scoring game, I think about 3-1.
So he's projecting a pitcher's duel, 3-1 score. We'll see if the Doors have other things in mind, as yesterday, again, they exploded with all that power for a 5-run win. First pitch will be coming up at 7 p.m., and that'll do it for the pregame show. For Katie Florio and David Korzenowski, I'm Daniel LaRose saying so long, and we'll see you in just a bit. The Falmouth Commodores ride an 8-game winning streak entering this matchup against the Orleans Firebirds. Jeff Trundy riding 450 wins into this matchup against the Firebirds. What do you do when you have 8 wins for your team and 450 wins for your coach?
You win another.
You win another. They'll be trying to do just that as we are just minutes away from first pitch from Eldredge Park. Danny LaRose and David Korzenowski on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. Thank you for tuning in, and a pleasant Friday evening to you all listening wherever, as the Doors and the Firebirds will wrap up their season series here at Eldredge Park. 4th and final game with the Falmouth Commodores leading the series 2-1, and they won yesterday right here 6-1.
Yeah, great game. I think one of the most complete wins that the Commodores have had all summer. Pitching staff was great. They had a shutout going into the bottom of the 9th inning. The hitting was great.
3 home runs. We saw it from Blake Dunn and Tim Tawa, 2 guys getting their first long bomb of the year, as well as Barron Radcliffe going opposite field for number 5 on the summer. And then the defense. I mean, I think that was one of maybe the untold story from that game. We saw 2 outfield assists, a line drive double play from Justin Wrobleski that was huge in the later part of his outing. Really a complete win, and the team looked as good as ever last night.
Doors have been as good as ever in this past about 11 days, as the first pitch of the ball game right at 7 p.m. is a fastball taken below the knees by Hayden Cantrell. That by Jake Eder, the left-hander on the hill for Orleans, a Vanderbilt Commodore during his school season. So he's a national champion fresh off that championship run. The 1-0 to Cantrell, batting from the right side, is slugged into left center field. That one will hang up just long enough for the catch to be made on a run by the left fielder Max Troiani. 1 up and 1 down in the first.
We saw a similar first at-bat from Hayden Cantrell yesterday. He waited a little bit longer in the count, but he was batting as a lefty, and he put it into the opposite field out and left. Troiani making the catch both times. He's playing out in left field for the second straight night. Eder pounds the strike zone quite a bit, only 3 walks on the summer to 10 strikeouts.
He kicks and fires the first pitch to Blake Dunn. Blake shows bunt and takes a ball. It's Cantrell followed by Dunn, then Zach DeLoach batting third. In the cleanup spot, Trey Cruz. Barron Radcliffe follows him. Then it's Troy Claunch, Austin Langworthy, Steven Moretto, and Tim Tawa batting ninth in this Doors lineup. Here's the 1-0 to Dunn, taken at the knees for strike 1. Defensive alignment for the Orleans Firebirds. It's Eder pitching into Rob Emery behind the plate. The outfield from left to right, Max Troiani, Jacob Hurtubise, and Zach Kokoska. As the 1-1 comes home to Dunn, and it's taken below the knees. Then the infield, Eddie McCabe at third, Shea Whitcomb at short, Julio Marcano at second base, and Zach Britton manning the first base bag.
It's going to be a great game. Majinski and Eder, 2 of the better pitchers on these staffs.
His 2-1 misses high now, a 3-1 count to Blake. This was the game to watch for a lot of the scouts. They were saying so online earlier today that they're going to be finishing up their summers for the most part in Orleans to watch these 2 fireballers. Here's the 3-1 to Blake Dunn. He chops it foul, keeps the count, makes the count full.
That's one thing people forget is that the scouts don't hang around for the postseason.
Yep.
Because a lot of the better players in the Power 5 might be hitting their innings limits, scouts are here earlier in the summer and staying until about late July trying to see the best baseball. And I think we can both agree that the best baseball on the Cape is usually around the middle of July. That's when these rosters are all full and everyone is playing their best.
Here's the 3-2. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Was about belt high. Blake Dunn was tossing the bat towards the dugout, but he is punched out. And that's out number 2 of the first.
Didn't like the call. I'm not sure exactly where that pitch was. We kind of have a weird angle as we're staring down the right field line, but Eder in and around the strike zone, he has not looked wild at all. He still hasn't given up an earned run all summer, Danny, in 10 innings of work. This is start number 3 for the lefty.
He was the pitcher who was on the mound when Vanderbilt came rushing at him and made that dog pile out in Omaha. First pitch to DeLoach is fouled away up behind us on the roadway. Falmouth Commodores at 21-12-1, an 8-game winning streak, 8-2 in their last 10. Orleans, they've been playing moderately well over the last 10, 5-4-1 for a record of 18-14-2. Here's the 0-1 to DeLoach. It's taken down and away. A ball and a strike to the big lefty from Texas A&M.
And how about this? Falmouth has been sneaky, one of the best road teams on the Cape, 11-6 when playing away from Gov Fuller Field.
DeLoach staring at a 1-1 count with nobody on and 2 away in the first. Here's the pitch. Good breaking ball that swung on and missed. Looked like it bottomed out, and DeLoach was fanned.
Eder, that 6'4", 210 frame. Going to be a junior next year with the Commodores down in Vanderbilt. He had a great year as a sophomore, 2.97 ERA. That just speaks to the depth of that pitching staff.
Here's the pitch. DeLoach lines one into center field. That one is going to fall for a base hit. A single off the bat of Zach DeLoach as he now breaks out of his hitless streak. Entering that AB, he was hitless in 3 straight games for the first time all summer, but quickly that evaporates.
Yeah, and his average dropped to a measly 333, right? We saw it way up at 415, and then he goes in a quote-unquote slump, and he's still top 5 in the Cape League in batting average. He was 0 for 3 last night, but he did draw a walk and score a run. Hard hit ball into center field. Good two-strike hitting from the lefty.
Cleanup man and switch hitter Trey Cruz will come up to the plate batting from the right side. First pitch from Eder is grounded towards short. This should do it as the flip is made on to second for a 6-4 fielder's choice to retire the side. Falmouth scores no runs on one hit, no errors, and they strand a runner on first base as we head to the home half of the first. 0-0 from Eldredge.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Bottom of the first set to begin as Carmen Majinski warms up on the mound for Falmouth. Majinski has been one of the best Commodores pitchers. He leads the team in strikeouts, was potentially an all-star snub because he's got the numbers to back it up.
Oh, yeah, 2.58 ERA, a 1-0 record. 35 strikeouts and 24 and a third innings of work. Only 4 walks. He issued 1 walk in his first 4 starts, none in his last time out against Wareham. And I think that last start against the Gatemen in Game 1 of the doubleheader last Friday was his best start of the summer. He gets his first win, pitches 5 innings of work against the best hitting team on the Cape, gives up just 2 base knocks, no walks, and 4 strikeouts. And that really catapulted the Commodores right in the middle of this win streak.
So the rising junior at South Carolina did not pitch on this diamond back on Sunday for the All-Star game. It was Aliman and Hoffman, but now he'll get that opportunity on this Friday evening against a struggling Orleans ball club. They were no-hit a couple games ago in Game 1 of a doubleheader against Harwich, exploded for 8 runs in Game 2, and then yesterday, despite putting up 11 hits, could muster all of 1 run, that 1 run coming in the 9th inning. Orleans has been pretty hit or miss with their offense all summer long. Their pitching has been carrying them. Speaking of pitching, the Doors pitching has definitely been the highlight over this winning streak, allowing only 9 earned runs over these 8 games.
That's just insane.
First pitch from Majinski is a lightning-fast fastball on the outside corner for strike 1 to Jacob Hurtubise. Orleans lineup is as follows. It's Hurtubise followed by Kokoska and Troyani, as the 0-1 is again on the outside half for a strike. Zach Britton batting cleanup, then Shea Whitcomb and Eddie McCabe. 7, 8, and 9, Rob Emery, Dominic Keegan, and Julio Marcano. They'll have to get through this big righty from Hilton Head, South Carolina. The 0-2 misses up and away.
Something Majinski does so well. For anyone following this team, they know this. He gets up 0-2 and 1-2 like it is his job. Has a couple throwaway pitches, but then gets the punch out.
Here's the pitch, loped towards the left field line. This one is drifting out of play. Count will remain at 1-2 strikes.
And Stu Murray, a guy who worked here in Orleans as the sort of head broadcast media boss, if you will, and now works for Perfect Game as sort of a scout and recruiter, very active on Twitter, comes over and he says, how does Majinski have a 2.58 ERA? When he's only given up 1 extra base hit, and he's been so good.
Line drive off the bat of Hurtubise into left field, but Austin Langworthy is there for the first out of the first inning.
And if you look at his game by game, 4 of his runs really, I don't want to say they were fluky, but they weren't really his fault. He goes up against Brewster, gives up 2 earned runs on no balls that went out of the infield. Remember, there was a bunt hit, a couple balls in no man's land between third and the mound. And then those 2 runs against Harwich, He gave up a 2-run blast to Nico Cavadas, who's the best power hitter on the Cape. You know, a pretty good pitch on 2 strikes, but even better hitting. So his ERA could be even better.
First pitch runs inside to Zach Kokoska. There's not much to shake your head at when it comes to Carmen Majinski, a guy who did not get to pitch a lot in his sophomore year due to injury, but that has set up the doors quite nicely to carry his arm into the playoffs. Here's a ground ball towards second base. Hayden Cantrell plays it on some high hops. The throw on to first in time, a 4-3 putout, and 2 up, 2 down for Carmen. We've seen Langworthy and Cantrell with some putouts. We'll run through the rest of the defense for the Doors. It's Majinski throwing into Troy Claunch. Tim Tawa manning third base. Troy Cruz at short. The man who just executed that putout, Hayden Cantrell at second. Steven Moretto back at first base. Doesn't get to play there a lot, only the 3rd time this summer. First pitch to Troyani, taken for a strike. And then outfield left to right, Langworthy, Dunn, and Deloach.
Troyani's a guy I'm watching today. 0 for 5 last night, but still leading the Cape in batting average.
He watches another pitch clip the outside corner. Quickly 0-2 to the best hitter on the Cape. And I like how you bring that up. He's still leading the Cape in batting average, and his average fell all the way from 368 to 351 just yesterday after going 0 for 5. And he starts off 0 for 1 as he swings right through a breaking ball. A 3-pitch strikeout for Carmen Majinski against Max Troyani works a 1-2-3 inning in the first. As we'll head to the top of inning number 2, it's still 0-0 on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Welcome back to Eldredge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. Daniel LaRose and David Korzenowski here with you on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network as the top of inning number 2 is just about to get underway. Jacob Eder throwing in his final warm-up pitch, getting the ball back from his shortstop and getting back on the rubber. He'll face Barron Radcliffe, Troy Claunch, and Austin Langworthy due up in this half inning for the Doors. Barron Radcliffe was effective yesterday, to say the least. He hit his 5th home run of the summer. A 2-run home run in the 9th. Went 2 for 5 as he had a single as well and watches the first pitch run inside for a ball.
Yeah, and he had a hard-hit single into right center field yesterday, something we haven't seen as much from a guy who's primarily providing a lot of power. He has 8 extra base hits this summer with 3 doubles and 5 dingers.
Now up to 19 RBIs thanks to all those extra base hits. The 1-0 to the big lefty from Georgia Tech is taken down and away.
And that's starting to look like a really good heart of the order. We know it has for the past 8 to 10 games, but if you got Cruz and Radcliffe at 4 and 5, both with 19 RBIs, Deloach before them, who's leading the team in average with 18 ribbies of his own, that's a great 3-4-5.
The 2-0, chopped towards first base. That's Britton's area. He will scoop it and step on the bag himself. So Radcliffe, well out ahead of that baseball, and he is a ground-out victim for the first out of the second.
Eder's changeup has looked really good. As you said, Radcliffe just way in front of it, taps it down the first base line for an easy out.
Troy Claunch will come up to the plate, the Oregon State Beaver, who got the day off last night. Claunch has been struggling recently, only 2 for his last 15. The lefty rocks and fires to the righty, and he takes it up and away.
264 average last year out at Oregon State. 19 hits, 3 doubles, 9 RBIs. We mentioned how he didn't play too much for the Beavers as he was designated hitting, catching during those midweek games.
Here's the 1-0, taken on the outside part of the plate for a strike. Troy will be the starter at Oregon State, barring some nonsense in the fall and in the spring. So this is definitely a good glimpse into how they might fare with their new catcher, as the breaking ball does not break and stays above his head.
Yeah, you're looking at a matchup right now that these are going to be two of the main guys on some of the best teams in college baseball next year and the year after that, possibly. With Clonch on Oregon State, Eder trying to work his way into the starting rotation for Vanderbilt.
Swings and misses at a hard fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to the catcher. Austin Langworthy awaits on deck. Langworthy also got the night off last night, but he was manning first base as the first base coach with Brett Becker still absent.
Brett's back in town now.
He is. He's back at third base. Ryan Eiley back at first as a swing and a miss. Strike 3 puts Clonch down. Back-to-back fastballs on the outside part of the plate, and Troy strikes out for the second out of the second.
Well, right now we're getting exactly what we thought we would with a pitcher's duel. Eder and Majinski both looking great. Only one base runner allowed between these two aces. And Eder, you know, if Orleans makes the playoffs, which they're looking in pretty good shape to do, he's a guy that they're going to need and be, you know, relying on for those big playoff starts.
He is a great addition into this rotation in the latter half of the season, as that ball is taken down to the dirt by Langworthy, a ball and no strikes. Because typically you see the pitchers from the teams that go to Omaha not ever show up to the Cape because, you know, they've hit those innings limits or they've achieved what they want to do. They want to, you know, maybe take a month off because it really is not a lot of time before they have to be back at school. Langworthy cranks one into right center field. This one is back and will be caught in deep right center by Zach Kokoska, the right fielder. So Austin Langworthy, great contact, but nothing doing for the Doors in the second inning as they go down 1-2-3. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Still 0-0 at Eldredge.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day. Like the new short rib tacos or New England fried shrimp. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Back in action at Eldredge Park as the bottom of the second just about to get underway. Been a pitcher's duel through the first frame and a half, as you predicted, David. We'll see if that continues to carry on. But so far, it's been only one base runner for either side. That came from the Doors on a single, and in the first inning, Carmen Majinski was stellar.
I mean, most people who were, you know, coming to this game didn't have to go too far out on a limb to say that this would be a pitcher's duel.
Right.
These are, you know, the Orleans Firebirds struggle a little bit hitting. Commodores bats kind of come and go, and these two pitchers, I mean, it's really their show right now. They have been outstanding, two of the best on the Cape. Two guys who didn't make the All-Star game, but Eder because of an innings limit, or I should say his innings count wasn't high enough to warrant an All-Star appearance. And then Carmen Majinski, for whatever reason, we're still kind of mystified at that.
I guess just too many good pitchers from the West.
Right.
Enough pitchers from the West who were able to blow a lead late in the game at the All-Star game. It was the West leading 4-1 in the eighth inning.
And then the Commodores came out of the game.
Once the Commodores were out of the game after the sixth, things started to fall apart for the West as they ended up losing 5-4?
6-5.
6-5.
That was fun, though.
In a walk-off.
Yeah, I don't think anyone on the West was too upset.
It's the All-Star game. It's not a big deal. First pitch strike to Zach Britton, the first baseman. It's Britton, Whitcomb, and McCabe for Orleans. Lefty in McCabe from Georgetown. Pardon me, this is Britton. He's a lefty from Louisville. Watches a ball outside.
Louisville, another team that made it to Omaha this year. The Cardinals, one of my favorite teams to watch in all of college baseball this year.
Here's the 1-1 pitch. Whoa. Broken bat. The Shard goes towards first base, but the ball will drop into center field for a hit. Britton is on first base with a wacky single to start the second.
Man, I don't know if we've seen a broken bat ball hit that far.
Yeah.
If that bat stays in one piece, that ball is into the gap in right center field. Dunn fields it on a hop out in about mid-depth out in center field, but the bat went flying out towards the pitcher's mound. So Britton aboard with the first base runner for Orleans.
I mean, that's why I called it wacky, because it's not unusual
Right.
that you see a bloop hit like that, but it's unusual that you see a broken bat that completely got splintered and the ball carry that far. Shea Whitcomb now at the plate. The righty watches a first pitch off speed at the knees for strike one. Shea was brilliant yesterday.
Yep.
He went 3 for 4, had a double, a single, and then another double before finally striking out in his last at bat in the 8th. Batting .287 now on the summer. Here's the pitch. A little late on that one, and he fouls it back towards the Falmouth dugout.
Yeah, he had that fastball timed up pretty well. He was just a little bit on top of it. Ended up coming back towards the third base side, but we know Majinski's fastball can throw hitters for a loop, especially the first time through the order. Whitcomb, one of the better hitters on this team, as you alluded to, had it timed pretty well.
He's got 5 home runs, 12 RBIs as well. Been extraordinarily effective, and he's batting right in the middle of the lineup at the 5-hole. This 4, 5, and 6 is easily the most dangerous part of their lineup. Eddie McCabe in the 6-hole has been red hot as well. He stands on deck. Here's the 0-2 to Whitcomb. Just gets a piece of the breaking ball and fouls it back behind home plate.
Yeah, Orleans kind of has a weird batting order because Hurtubise, their leadoff guy, has a ton of speed. He's really good at that leadoff spot. The 2-spot changes about every night.
Yeah.
We saw yesterday Josh Zamora, a guy hitting sub 200, was hitting second. Tonight it's Kokoska, who's only 235. So that's kind of fickle, but then the meat of the order, as you said, really dangerous.
The 0-2 yet again. Breaking ball on the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Majinski gets his second strikeout of the ball game, and that's the first out of the second. Eddie McCabe will now come up to the dish. Third baseman from Georgetown. Behind home plate, who just punched out Whitcomb, is Alan Liberdoni. At first base, Rick Emerson. Third base is Mike Rabideau. Those umpires wearing the baby blue. First pitch is a fastball down low, chopped over towards third. This could be 2. Throw on to second, just in time. Picked out of the dirt by Hayden Cantrell. Britton couldn't slide in quick enough, and the second out of the inning comes at second base, but McCabe is on first.
A little bit of a low throw from Tim Tawa over to Cantrell. They're kind of laughing and jabbing at each other after that play. Could have been a double play, a little bit softly hit, so it would have been tough to turn, but a nice pick by Cantrell, doing his best first base impression over at second.
So with McCabe reaching on a fielder's choice, that makes it now 16 straight games where he has gotten on base. Again, like we said, pretty red hot, as he is just a constant on the base paths for the Firebirds, as the first pitch is a breaking ball to Rob Emery for a strike. 2 outs and McCabe on first base in a scoreless game here in Orleans. Falmouth rocking their road blacks as they were yesterday with the gray pants and black hat. The Orleans Firebirds wearing the red Friday jerseys. Those are those red tops and white pants, the white lettering on the back, and the white Cape Cod in cursive across the chest with the camo hats, which are just awesome. Ball down low. Claunch looks back the runner at first, and the count will stay even.
Emery came in as a pinch hitter yesterday, caught the last couple innings behind the plate for David Avidia. Going to be a senior next year, University of San Francisco.
He's a righty against the righty Majinski as the 1-1 just catches the knees on the outside corner. Rob doesn't like it as he has some words for Liberdoni, but Majinski will take it, now ahead 1-2.
And his fastball has such movement. I don't know if he has a 2-seam and a 4-seam or if it's just one heater that he has, but sometimes it has a little bit of rising action. And as that righty, it comes across the plate as well, so it moves a little side to side.
Majinski's 1-2. Breaking ball, slapped over towards short, and Trey Cruz is going to go with the glove flip onto his partner at second base for the force out to retire the side. Orleans scores no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and they strand a runner on base. We'll go to the top of the third, still scoreless at Eldredge.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official bat and glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare. Expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
Top of the third, set to begin from Eldredge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. It'll be led off by Stephen Moretto, then Tim Tawa, and Hayden Cantrell, 8, 9, and 1 in this Falmouth lineup. They'll be going up against Jake Eater, who's still on the mound for his third inning of work. So far has been pretty solid. Has only allowed 1 base runner on 1 hit and racked up a couple of Ks to his ledger as well.
Starting pitching. I mean, down the stretch and in the playoffs, that is the name of the game here on the Cape League.
To try to preserve some of that starting pitching with all the doubleheaders teams will be playing in the next couple of days, we've gotten a sudden rule change that from now on through August 1st, the final day of the regular season, there will be no extra innings played. So if it's a 7-inning game and a doubleheader, they will not play 8 even if it's tied, and they will not play 10 if a tie game enters if a game is still tied after the 9th inning, to try to preserve some of those pitchers. First pitch to the righty, Moretto, is crushed into left field. That one's going to get down for a hit, and Stevens going to round first, head into second. The throw will come into the cutoff man and not second base. It's a leadoff double off the bat of Stephen Moretto.
It's a good strategy for Moretto. We know that when these pitchers shove on the Cape, I think the adjustment you have to make as, a hitter, and a lot of teams do it, you got to start swinging at the first pitch, because once they get ahead 0-1, 0-2, they can really toy with you as a batter. Moretto knows first pitch of the inning. Eater's in his groove. He's going to hit the strike zone with that first pitch fastball. He's in front of it, pulls it down the third base line, and gets on second base.
So we'll see if the Doors' bottom of the lineup can get anything going against Eater in the third. Tim Tawa, now the hitter. He had a great night last night, 2 for 4 with a double and a home run. He shows bunt and pops one up all the way behind us and onto the roadway. No balls and 1 strike to the Stanford Cardinal, who last night was manning left field. Tonight, he's at third base. Jack of all trades.
Yeah, he's really a utility player in every sense of the word. Played second base a couple times this summer, DH'd a little bit.
Here's the 0-1 from Eater. Hard fastball in on the hands that Tawa just a little bit late on and fouls back into the screen. Great swing on a tough pitch, though.
Yeah, Tawa struck out a couple times yesterday, and it was when he got behind 0-2 both times. He was swinging at the first couple pitches and fouled them away. He's in a similar hole here.
Count 0-2 right now with Moretto on second base. Not too much of a lead from Steven. Eater taking a lot of time. Couldn't agree on a pitch with Emery, so Tawa's going to call for time. On deck is Hayden Cantrell, the leadoff man. Got good contact in his first at-bat, but flew out. The 0-2 pitch, up and away for a ball.
So Kevin Kendall, who was in the 9 spot last night for Falmouth, and Tim Tawa, pretty good friends here on the Cape, Pac-12 foes. They were playing road chess today before the game.
Yikes.
I love it. I love that.
They're geniuses. 1-2. Foul tip into the mitt of Emery, strike 3. Tim Tawa strikes out now for the 3rd time at Eldredge Park in only 2 games played. Just couldn't get enough contact on that pitch.
Yeah, he got a piece of it and tried to stay alive, but just a good squeeze by Emery. It was kind of funny, though. Before the game, Kevin Kendall's holding this, board. It looks like a...
Yeah, I saw him holding it.
Right, it looked like sort of like a manila folder, right, but about half the size. Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, it's pocket chess.
First pitch to Hayden Cantrell, slugged into center field. This one is falling, and it will get down in front of the center fielder. Moreto's going to hold up at third base as he had to be cautious. Potentially could have been caught by Hurtubise, instead gets down, and Steven will take third. On first is Hayden Cantrell, who improves to 1 for 2.
There it is again. First pitch swinging. Eater goes right down the middle. Hayden Cantrell goes right back up the middle. And Hurtubise had the choice to either dive for it and try to make a risky play. If he did and it squeaked by, Moreto definitely would have scored, so he opts to be more conservative. Double play still ends the inning, but you got the leading runner just 90 feet away.
Blake Dunn will try to bring home that first run of the ball game. Moreto 90 feet away, as you mentioned, with Cantrell on first, and he is a speed demon, Hayden Cantrell. 16 stolen bases on the summer. First pitch to the righty, Dunn, is clubbed into right field. That one is going to be caught on a run over at second base. They try to go to first to try to pick off Cantrell, and they don't get him in time. But what a play by Julio Marcano, leaping over his left shoulder to reel in a sure base hit from Dunn.
Wow. Those flare shots, you see him die past those middle infielders at short and second. Marcano leaping and extending his arm as far as he could. He's a guy who came in as a defensive substitution yesterday as well. A late addition, sort of a back-end temporary player, if you will. New Jersey Institute of Technology.
First time we've seen that.
Definitely.
So Zach DeLoach will be the hitter with runner still on the corners and now 2 outs. DeLoach had a single back in the first inning but was stranded on first. First pitch to the lefty, taken below the knees. Go ahead.
It was, again, Dunn swinging at the first pitch.
Yep.
Saw it 3 out of the 4 batters.
Zach DeLoach, who hit a little bit of a rough patch, watch that average now at 333. Still good for top 5 in the Cape League. Cantrell is running from first. This one is slapped into right field. It's going to be a base hit and roll up the line. DeLoach is rounding first. He's going to head into second. Moreto has already scored, as now the ball is called dead on a ground rule double. So Cantrell will have to trot back towards third base. DeLoach is on second with an RBI double, and the Doors lead by 1.
It's awesome hitting from DeLoach. He takes a first pitch ball because Eater knew that he was getting slapped around when he was hitting the strike zone with that first pitch. Falls behind in the count and then needs to throw a strike because he doesn't want to go down 2-0 to DeLoach. And again, in front of it, pulls it down the first base line, right past the first baseman, Britton. And the Firebirds catching a break with the layout of this ballpark, because if this was fenced off, that could have been a triple.
And Cantrell was already halfway down the baseline.
Yeah. Yep.
He would have brought home the second run, as now there's going to be a meeting on the mound between the catcher, pitching coach, and pitcher, as the Doors went down 6 of their first 7 batters, and the second inning was a 1-2-3 inning for Eater. Now in the third, they've put together 3 hits, 2 of them for extra bases.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, this is a really good sign for the Falmouth hitting, because Eater's a guy who hadn't given up an earned run all summer. He'd only given up 2 hits max in any of his outings. Doors already have 4 hits and 2 doubles.
He has now allowed an earned run officially. DeLoach bringing home Moreto, who led off the inning with a 2-bagger. Now Trey Cruz will try to follow up that act. He made the final out of the first inning on a ground ball to short that ended up in a fielder's choice. Trey Cruz now 1 for his last 18 after an 8-game hitting streak was snapped a couple of days ago. We've seen him go through the highest of highs and a couple of valleys along the season, trying to get back onto the peak. First pitch to the right-hander is taken on the inside corner for strike 1. Cruz, a shortstop from Rice, 305 average this past year as a sophomore. Had 44 RBIs with the Owls. On the Cape, he's got 19, tied for the team lead as he fouls back that one behind the screen. No balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, and he's frustrated. That was a curveball that he was waiting on. Flared the bat out and just didn't get the contact that he wanted.
Still a little bit out ahead. Even when you're seeing curveball, they can be so tough to hit when they take the velocity off. Here's the 0-2 from Eater. Just gets a piece of it and fouls it away again behind home plate.
Another good sign for the Commodores. They're working that pitch count up from Eater. He's at 35 pitches now. 23 strikes, 12 balls. But if they can get into this bullpen early, that's a really good sign, because Orleans has been pitching quite a few guys.
0-2, again slapped foul. It was a hard fastball inside that he was able to inside out and stay alive.
And that's because they had a doubleheader just 2 nights ago against Harwich. They give up 3 home runs they give up 3 runs in game number 2 to the Harwich Mariners.
I believe they've got another doubleheader on the docket tomorrow, as do the Commodores. So both teams trying to preserve all the arms they can. 0-2 yet again is taken up and away for the first ball of the at-bat. 1-2 now the count to Cruz. Cleanup hitting shortstop. On second is Zach DeLoach. He has the first RBI and only RBI of the ball game. Third base is Hayden Cantrell. Ground ball into the outfield should score both of them. Eaters 1-2 offering. Down low, great block by Emery. If that one gets past, would probably mean another run.
And that's how the first run scored yesterday, was on a wild pitch with DeLoach at third base.
That was against David Evidia, who was behind home plate. This time Emery. He's looked sharp so far. Hasn't had to get too down and dirty, but hasn't seen any roll behind him. Cruz wags the bat a couple times, now brings it up over his back ear. The 2-2. Up and in, looked like it plunked him right on the elbow. He'll drop the bat and walk down to first base, stretching out those arms, and the bases will be loaded for Barron Radcliffe.
Oh, baby, and is this a huge at-bat coming up? You need an out here if you're Orleans, because Barron Radcliffe has hit a grand slam before. It was against Chatham. RBI machine, especially in these past 2 weeks.
Barron's grand slam at Chatham was an opposite field grand slam that went 398 feet. He also hit an opposite field home run in his final at-bat of last night's game in the 9th inning. So far today, he's 0 for 1 with a ground out to first base. He points that bat head out at the pitcher like a Jedi challenging his opponent. Now brings it back over his back shoulder. Watches a first pitch breaking ball clip the outside edge for strike number 1.
And that's Radcliffe's strategy. He is usually taking first couple pitches, even if he gets down 0-2 or 1-2. He likes to see the pitcher a couple times before he swings the bat.
Lefty-lefty matchup, Vanderbilt versus Georgia Tech. Here's Eater's pitch. Another breaking ball on the outside edge that's called for a strike. Great approach from Eater with those 2 pitches.
Yeah, 100%, and I think he's going to go fastball inside here. Try to tie him up, give him something that he can't hit hard. Try to get that punch out.
Here's the 0-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Went with a fastball below the knees as Radcliffe slams the bat in the batter's box and shatters it in frustration. The Doors leave the bases loaded, but they do score 1 run on 3 hits. No errors against Orleans. And again, 3 runners left on base. To the bottom of the 3rd we go. Falmouth 1, Orleans 0.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Bottom 3 from Eldredge Park in Orleans as the Falmouth Commodores now see themselves leading by a run. 1-0 thanks to a Zach DeLoach double in the 3rd inning, but they did leave the bases loaded. Majinski will be working with a lead for the first time tonight, and he's usually pretty effective working with a lead.
He is. I do want to hit on that top of the 3rd inning, though. That was an awesome half inning. We saw some really good hitting from the Commodores with Moretto, Cantrell, and DeLoach. And then Eater really digging down deep to preserve just a 1-run lead for Falmouth and get out unscathed with the bases loaded and 2 down. Huge strikeout to Radcliffe on just 3 pitches.
First pitch from Majinski to the righty, Dominic Keegan. He goes around on a breaking ball in the dirt, strike 1. Also, don't forget some great defensive play.
True.
Blake Dunn hit a flare shot towards the right side, and Julio Marcano at second base had to leap up and snag it before it could find outfield grass. As the same pitch is fired by Majinski, and again, Keegan swinging out of his shoes for it, 0-2.
Keegan making his first appearance last night in a pinch hit. He went 0 for 1.
Here's the 0-2. On the inside corner, strike 3 call. Dominic Keegan goes down on 3 pitches, and that's the first out of the third. He is now 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts on the Cape.
Carmen with 3 Ks through the first 8 batters he's faced. We've seen that pace be a little bit quicker before. One thing I did want to hit on earlier, this is the second time that Orleans is seeing Carmen Majinski, because he started in that July 1st game, went 5 innings, no hits, only 1 walk, so just 1 base runner allowed. Nearly perfect with 7 Ks.
First pitch fastball to Julio Marcano is taken for a strike on the inside half. Marcano made that great play at second base, and what could have been a hit preserved the 1-0 deficit when it could have been more, as another fastball glances off the outside corner to make it 0-2. So far, no balls thrown by Majinski in this half inning.
And 4 balls thrown all night. Are you kidding me?
Here's the 0-2. Ground ball towards the left side, but well foul. Julio Marcano, you mentioned how he was on Orleans early in the summer, then went back home, then came back. He had suffered a little bit of an arm injury. Recovered well, so they said, hey, come on back. They reactivated him in late July. 0-2, taken below the knees for a ball. And what's interesting about that is he now has a 4-game hitting streak stretching back to June 12th.
Interesting.
He's only played in 5 games. His first game, he was hitless. The 1-2 to Marcano. Line drive into center field, and he will extend his hitting streak to 5. It's a single for Julio, and there's 1 out and a runner on first.
Good hitting from the 9-man. .417 batting average in his limited appearances.
So Julio Marcano now 6 for 13 and improving his batting average well above 400. Jacob Hurtubise, who flew out to left field his first time up, will come up to the dish. The lefty from Army. First pitch by Majinski is a bunt laid down the third base side. This one's going to stay fair. Tawa with the bare hand on to first, and the throw is a little bit up the line as there was a collision at first base. On to third goes Marcano. Hurtubise is going to have to stay at first base as he took a hard fall. Moretto took the bulk of Hurtubise's frame into his arm as he stretches out the hand, but both of them look okay, and runners will be on the corners with 1 out for Orleans.
Wow. This is an intense game, man. That was a crazy play. Bunt down the third base line. Majinski running over, and he immediately backs off once Tawa came in and called for the ball. Barehanded and a pretty good throw, just a little bit far in on the line. So when Moretto brought his glove back across the line, he kind of tripped up Hurtubise, who then went somersaulting past the first base bag. He's safe because Moretto drops the ball.
Hurtubise now has a giant white stripe from the baseline over his left shoulder. Pickoff move to first base. Yeah, right? He looks like a tiger. Pickoff move over to first base, but nothing doing. Jacob Hurtubise with a ton of speed.
Yep.
He put up 45 stolen bases last summer, or last spring, I should say, at Army. Here's a bunt being shown by the 2-hitter Kokoska, but it goes foul.
And that was a really good bunt. I mean, he placed that pretty much perfectly midway down the third base line. Tawa almost made a beautiful play. I thought he had him at first.
Looked like they would have had him, but of course the ball was dropped.
Right. And I think maybe the collision jarred the ball loose.
Yeah.
I couldn't exactly see.
I think that's why. Another pickoff move and no dice. That's why Hurtubise is on first with a single as it is ruled. It had to have been from, because Moretto was right there. All of a sudden he got this 5'11" kid barreling right through his arm. They do rule it an error by Tawa, which allowed Marcano to get to third. Here's a back pick over to third, and they've got him in a rundown. Troy Clonch with the ball, now tosses it back to Tawa. Tawa will run him down. Hurtubise too far off of second. The throw comes into second base. Tag applied, but nothing doing there. So they do get an out at third base thanks to Marcano straggling too far off the bag. Looked like a safety squeeze as Kokoska went to lay down the bunt. Couldn't connect, and then Marcano was a dead duck.
This is awesome. What a back pick by Troy Clonch as he immediately throws down to third base. And with Marcano, he was way off third base back. He knew he wasn't going to get in safely. He said, I got to dash for home. Tawa throws into Clonch. I think that was a 2-5-2-5 putout.
Yeah, very quick rundown executed by the Doors, who now have executed perfect rundowns in 3 straight games.
And that's another way that they look really sound defensively, because on those chaotic plays, it's really easy to throw the ball away or make a mental mistake, and Falmouth has been ready for every one of them.
Could tell you, with young players, usually rundowns are the toughest
100%.
to pull through. You see it in Little League, high school ball all the time. Errant throws galore, but the Falmouth Commodores, they have been excellent at it. Hurtubise is on second base, but Kokoska is staring at a 1-1 count after he couldn't get, or pardon me, an 0-2 count. Unless he was able to pull back that bunt, which I don't think that was the call. I think they did call a strike because he tried to lay it down. Time called again by Kokoska.
And another thing on that play, almost a double play.
Yeah.
Because they almost got Hurtubise over at second as he was rounding a little bit too far towards third.
Majinski kicks and deals. Ground ball goes foul up and above the Orleans dugout. This feels like a playoff game.
No, well, it's just so intense.
So competitive right now, and they're just both teams are playing excellent baseball. Falmouth 1 run on 4 hits, 1 error. Orleans no runs on 3 hits, but the defenses have definitely stolen the show with some great starting pitching to boot. Here's the 1-2. Fastball high, gets away from Clonch as it rolls to the backstop. He records it in time to make sure Hurtubise can only take third, but now the tying run is 90 feet away. Runner on third with 2 outs, and Zach Kokoska facing a 2-2 count from Carmen Majinski, whose pitch count now up at 35 through only 2 2/3 innings, so pretty low. The 2-2 swung on and missed, strike 3. Kokoska couldn't make contact on a beautiful off-speed pitch. He goes down swinging, and Orleans comes up empty, scoring no runs on 2 hits, 1 error against the Commodores, and 1 runner stranded at third base. That'll do it for the first 3 innings as we enter the top of the 4th. It's 1-0 Commodores on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Welcome back to Eldredge Park. The Commodores still on top of the Firebirds 1-0. David Korzenowski joined alongside Daniel LaRose as we look towards the end of the season. 3 doubleheaders and maybe a nightmare as far as pitching staff and rotation. For more on that and the strategy of pitching coach Mike Landry, we bring in Katie Florio. Katie.
Thanks, David, and what a jam-packed schedule this last week of the regular season is. Like you mentioned, we have doubleheaders tomorrow, Monday, and Wednesday with regular games in between as well. So managing a pitching staff during a time like this, especially heading into playoffs, has to be one of the most challenging parts. So I asked pitching coach Mike Landry what the strategy is, and he said there's 2 parts to the plan. The first part is keeping everything intact as much as you can and trying to preserve the starters. He also said the other part is based on the dynamic. It just depends how the double headers go, how deep guys can go, and Landry said he's trying to do his best to limit pitches as well.
Thank you so much, Katie. So limiting pitchers, preserving starters, that's the key as ball number 1 comes in to Troy Clonch to start off the top of the 4th inning. Because we look at a doubleheader like 2 days ago against Orleans, Orleans and Harwich as a hard hit ball into center field. Hurtubise is back. He makes the catch. But Danny, to my point, doubleheader 2 nights ago with Harwich and Orleans. The Harwich Mariners use only 3 pitchers because Polish pitches a no-hitter in Game 1, and they use only 2 pitchers in Game 2 with Tommy Vail going with some extended relief. And that's huge.
Yeah.
If the Commodores can get something like that, where they get a complete game out of one of these guys, or just 1 or 2 bullpen arms on a day like tomorrow or Monday, that would be massive for their arms and their health. First pitch to Austin Langworthy, fouled back.
And Mike Landry is a wizard when it comes to, leveraging his pitchers and balancing that out. We saw last year how he would, they would cut a couple pitchers, and you'd think, why would they cut? They're still here, and it's just to, save their innings limits and stuff like that. So there's a ton of mind games you can play trying to balance your arms out.
Off speed, loped into center field. Long run for Hurtubise. He slides and makes the catch. Jacob Hurtubise showing off the speed as he makes the first 2 outs of this 4th inning.
That one just seemed to hang up forever. I mean, I thought it was going to be a sure bloop hit for Austin Langworthy. All of a sudden, the ball just decides to stay in the air just long enough for Hurtubise to get there. Maybe that's my eyes playing tricks on me, and it's just showing that Hurtubise is faster than you think.
Steven Moretto started off the top of the 3rd inning with a double, came around to score. On the Zach DeLoach double, he's up with 2 outs in the 4th. First pitch, above the letters, ball 1.
If Steven can start swinging a good bat, I mean, lately he's been used more as a utility guy, kind of a depth piece with Trey Cruz showing more and more flashes at 3rd. He was the starting 3rd baseman for the most part early in the season.
Foul tipped into the mitt, 1-1.
But Steven was 1 for his last 14 entering this ball game, had a batting average that was dipping dangerously close to the Mendoza line, now below 200. But if he can turn things on, again, this is kind of that home stretch where you want everybody to be clicking at the same time.
Eater's 1-1 is downstairs. 2 balls and a strike. A quick inning would do wonders for Jake Eater here in the 4th after he faced 7 batters in the 3rd. The Commodores left the bases loaded with 2 outs after Barron Radcliffe struck out on 3 pitches. The 2-1. Fastball. Hard hit down the left field line, and this ball is gone. Off the scoreboard in left field, and it's 2-0 Commodores.
That left field fence is owned by the Falmouth Commodores. We have seen now 4 home runs from the doors in the last 2 games here at Eldredge Park, all of them going over the left field fence, and Steven Moretto with a no-doubter on that one. Reminded me of Blake's yesterday. Blake Dunn hit a crushing home run, and Stevens, right off the bat, you knew it. He turned on an inside fastball, absolutely cranked it for his 2nd home run of the season. He's a big boy. He's got a lot of muscle in that upper body. Clearly showed off right there.
He's got a double and a home run to start the game. How about that for the 8-hitter Steven Moretto? Ball 1 comes upstairs to Tim Tawa, who also went yard yesterday.
I was just saying how if Steven could turn things on, and boy, in this game, he really looks the best that he has all summer.
Ground ball, right side, and it's to the left of the 3rd baseman, Eddie McCabe. Right down the 3rd base line for Tim Tawa, and a 2-out rally for the Doors.
We saw that yesterday from Falmouth when in the 5th inning it was Blake Dunn going yard. Both of those runners got on base with 2 outs. Cantrell with a single, then Dunn going over the wall with 2 outs and nobody on base. And now in this inning, 2 outs, nobody on base. Steven Moretto goes yard. Tim Tawa gets on first, and things are starting to click again for Falmouth, who just seem to never say die. Whether it's 2 strikes, 2 outs, or if it's the 8th inning, they're always working hard and getting guys on base.
Hayden Cantrell watches ball 1 low, so what could have been a quick inning for Jake Eater has now turned in to a tough one here in the 4th. 2 flyouts to start it off from Clonch and Langworthy. Moretto goes yard, and it was a no-doubter. You heard the cheers from the dugout as soon as that ball was off the bat. 2nd pitch, also downstairs, 2-0.
All right, well, now it's Hayden Cantrell's turn to do that,
right,
because Cantrell has 3 home runs, 12 RBIs on the summer, all of them coming at home. Every last home run and every last RBI coming at home. So, I mean, statistically, it has to come on the road now. There has to be one.
Tawa at first takes a big secondary lead. Line drive down the 3rd base line, just foul past Eddie McCabe. And right now it seems like these righties are way in front of Eater. They're timing him really well.
Yeah, I mean, some of his fastballs have had some jump to it. We saw Tawa strike out on a couple of quick heaters that he wasn't able to get around on. But for the most part, the strikeouts have been limited because everybody's swinging early and often at these pitches that are catching a lot of the plate. And you're right, they're out ahead of a lot of it. So it seems like his breaking stuff, his slight off-speed pitches, the changeups have really been easy to connect.
The 2-1 will have to wait as Eder throws over to first base to check on Tim Tawa. Moretto's last home run came in a 4-3 loss against the Brewster Whitecaps. Doors were down 2-1 for a majority of that game. He had a solo shot to tie it up. Brewster added 2 in the top of the 10th. Falmouth added 1 in the bottom, but came up just a run short. Ball 3 high to Cantrell. That was a loss against Brewster. They then lost the next day against the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox 7-0. They have not lost since. 8-2 in their last 10. 8 in a row coming into tonight. The 3-1. Check swing. He held up. Ball 4. Late appeal down to the first base umpire in Jeff Merzel. And now runners on first and second with 2 down.
Hayden's been walking a ton lately. He had 5 walks in his last 3 games played, now making 6 walks in his last 4 games played as he gets on base again. You've got Tawa on second, Cantrell right behind him. Both of them have a little bit of speed, and if Blake Dunn can put one in the outfield, you might see some fireworks go down. Dunn has been swinging a really hot bat recently, had that home run yesterday. He's got hits in 5 of his last 6 games. So far, he's 0 for 2, but his line drive in the 3rd inning probably should have been a single. He was completely robbed.
Blake Dunn, a .235 hitter, had his average peak at 300 in early July. His best 2 games came back-to-back against Katuitt. In a home-and-home against the Kettleers on July 3rd and 4th, he went 6 for 9. Tawa on second, Cantrell on first, off speed at the shins to Dunn. It's 1-0.
David, one more point about the 8-game winning streak, how they haven't lost in such a long time. Last loss was July 14th, I believe. I think
that's right.
The winning streak started on July 15th,
yeah,
so it's been 12 days since this team lost, nearly 2 weeks.
The 1-0 to Dunn. Fly ball, it'll stay on the infield. Moving in is the second baseman, Marcano. He's under it and makes the catch just behind the mound. First 2 batters go down with a flyout, but the Commodores score 1 run on 2 hits. No errors, and they leave 2 on base. It's 2-0 in favor of the Red Hot Doors. As we head to the bottom of the 4th inning, Carmen Majinski will be back on the mound after this on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare. Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
2-0 Falmouth, trying to win the season series against the Orleans Firebirds. They're up 2-1 so far against the team from way out east. David Korzanowski joined alongside Danny LaRose, and this team just shows no signs of slowing down.
I know, you would think that at some point in these last 12 days they would have a little bit of a stinker. Maybe the offense wouldn't be there, the defense, the pitching, something like that. They'd get blown out at a certain point. You can't be firing on all cylinders all the way through. And they've been a little bit off offensively in a couple games. We saw a 2-1 win against Wareham where the bats could only muster 1 hit. We saw a couple of other 2-score games, from some low-scoring outings. But again, even with when the batting is a little bit low, the pitching has been outstanding and the defense has been great too. Right. So they just seem to be so effective at every single facet of the game. And when they're a little bit off in one, the other 2 are just that much better.
Here's Max Troiani to start off the bottom of the 4th. He struck out on just 3 pitches in the first inning. Ground ball left side, fielded by Trey Cruz. Throw across the diamond in time. Troiani 0 for his last 7, 1 down in the 4th.
Yeah, how about that? Max Troiani hitless last night. So far, he's hitless tonight. This is a guy that you absolutely have to pitch very carefully to because, I mean, hey, he leads the Cape in average for a reason. And so far, so good for the Doors pitching, as really none of his outs either have been very loud outs.
Here's Zach Britton swinging at the first pitch down the first base line, but it's foul. Snagged by Moretto out of play as the sun is now setting behind Nauset Middle School here in Orleans, Massachusetts. Lights starting to come on. Eight light poles here in Orleans as Majinski delivers outside 1-1. Each light pole has between 5 and 8 lights, but they're not nearly as bright as some of the other fields. We know that they can give the fielders fits on fly balls. We saw it last night. The 1-1 is high.
A rare couple of balls from Carmen Majinski is now, he's in double digits in the ball count. If you have just hit 10 balls out of 40 some odd pitches and you're in the 4th inning, you're looking good.
Here's the 2-1. Fly ball back behind us and past Route 28 into the trees.
And Majinski had been peppering the strike zone, getting a lot of swings and misses. The scouts coming in droves tonight to watch these two guys pitch, and they are thoroughly impressed by Carmen. Just talking to Perfect Game Stu Murray, he mentioned to me that Carmen just looks so great. His fastball at 94 to 96 has plenty of rotation, just been so darn effective against these Orleans hitters. And you might think, well, Orleans struggles offensively, but no, it's definitely been Majinski getting the better of them.
The 2-2 to Britton. Into center field, up for Blake Dunn. He trots in and makes the catch at his chest, 2 down.
And he continues to get a lot of quick outs. Even when he's not racking up strikeouts, he's getting swings and he's not getting the best contact. That was pretty solid contact from Britton, but not when you get that much under it, and it's an easy out for Blake Dunn in center field. It's also huge for Majinski to impress these scouts all summer long and tonight because they don't get to see him a lot at school. His last year, he only pitched about 10 innings due to a stress fracture in his foot. His first year, he pitched a good amount, especially in the stretch run as South Carolina went to a super regional.
First pitch to Shea Whitcomb. Well foul into the parking lot. But you uncovered some interesting information about that stress fracture.
Yeah, so you wonder, how does a pitcher break his foot?
Right.
If not in a freak injury or of the sort, because you're not going to break a foot when you're pitching.
Here's the 0-1, just a little bit high.
It was evidently the South Carolina equipment room that can blame themselves. Apparently the cleats that the Gamecocks gave him for his sophomore year, he would put them on, he'd wear them for a game, and he was saying, my foot hurts. Take them off, his foot's fine. Puts them back on, his foot hurts again.
1-2 into center field. Blake Dunn, a little bit of a longer run in. It's actually going to drop between Cantrell and Dunn out in no man's land in right center. A bloop single for Shea Whitcomb with 2 down.
I think both of them were just a little bit fooled by how short that ball really was. Blake Dunn took a step back, then he started jogging in. All of a sudden you saw him turn the gears on, and he couldn't catch up to it. Hayden Cantrell did the same thing, was kind of, lackadaisically jogging out towards it, maybe expecting it would hang up long enough for him to track down. Instead it drops in between them as it just carried too far for Cantrell and too short for Dunn. But to finish up that story, turns out that the cleats that Majinski was wearing, we don't know if they were too tight, maybe didn't have enough support, arch support, anything like that, but that's what broke his foot in his sophomore year.
Crazy. Ground ball up the middle. Cantrell dives. He knocks it down, scoots it over to second base, but Trey Cruz wasn't there. Cantrell kept it on the infield, but nobody covering the bag. He tried to just bat it over towards second base with his glove hand. And now 2 singles with 2 outs puts runners on first and second in the bottom of the 4th.
Hayden Cantrell is having a great game. Offensively getting on base twice, defensively laying out like that and keeping the ball on the infield. And if Trey Cruz just took the extra 2 or 3 steps onto second base, he would have been able to scoop up that glove flip and tag the bag for the final out of the inning. Just a little bit of a mental mistake from Trey, and we rarely see that from him.
So Rob Emery will try to keep the 2-out rally going. Majinski looks into Troy Clonch. Settles in the stretch. We haven't seen it so far tonight. Slider breaks outside. Emery fans 0-1. Two-out rally for the Doors in the top of the 4th, scored another run. They extended their lead to 2-0 on a solo shot from Steven Moretto. Majinski looks back to second base. Calling for time is the home plate umpire, Alex Liberdino. Emery, a .264 average this summer. He grounded out into a fielder's choice to end the second inning. Check swing. Appeal down to first. He went around, says Rick Emerson, so it's 0-2.
I think that was the cutter from Majinski. That's another thing the scouts were raving about, is when a pitcher has a cutter, obviously that's, a great thing to see. Looks like a fastball all the way and then runs a little bit outside to righties if you are a righty throwing it. It's exactly what he threw. That's why Emery, kind of was halfway there with the swing.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. Rob Emery strikes out with 2 runners on to end the bottom of the 4th inning. The Commodores have allowed just 1 earned run in their past 13 innings. Pitching has been outstanding as ever. The Orleans Firebirds score no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 stranded. As Jacob Eater comes back out for the 5th, we'll be back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. 13 Commodores batters have come to the plate in the last 2 innings. They're starting to get to Eater, who's up to 59 pitches, 35 strikes, 24 balls, and he will not have a break here in the 5th. Deloach, Cruz, and Radcliffe coming up for their 3rd ABs each. Deloach, 2 for 2. Cruz, 0 for 1. Radcliffe, 0 for 2. Deloach right now a triple and a home run away from the cycle. Moretto, 4 spots later, a triple and a single away from the cycle.
So my money's on Steven if anybody's going to get it.
Yeah.
It's a little bit easier to get, but
definitely.
Don't count Zach out for the natural cycle.
Ooh.
You get a triple right here, then a home run.
That's not something you see very often.
No, very rarely. You can do that in video games pretty easily. That's what I do.
Eater from the windup, lefty-lefty matchup. He fouls the first pitch back to the screen. No balls and a strike. He singled in the first, doubled in the 3rd. That was the RBI single that scored Steven Moretto. Moretto has scored both runs tonight for the Falmouth Commodores. Eater, well high, 1-1.
Eater might be approaching his final inning of work after this frame. Up above 60 pitches, and you know what? When you pitch that deep into June with Vanderbilt, you got to be careful with his pitch count.
Pitched 39 and a third with the Commodores this year. Deloach with a nice take on a breaking ball that broke just a little bit too far outside. 2 balls and a strike. Deloach with 34 hits on the summer coming into this game. 3rd in the team in at-bats with over 100. Now 12 extra base hits on the year. The 2-1, he went around on a very low pitch, 2-2.
Yeah, that one was never really in the strike zone. Stayed about shin high and then dipped a little bit lower as it crossed the plate. I think Zach was eager to get a hit. He's eager to add to his ledger right now. Knows that he has been turning on some good pitches from Eater and getting them into the outfield. So just got to calm down a little bit and protect.
Eater's 2-2. Flare shot into center field. Charging in is Hurtubise. It's going to drop for a base hit. 3 for 3 is Zach Deloach. After he was hitless last night, he has been on fire here in game number 2 of a back-to-back against the Orleans Firebirds.
And that was great from Deloach. Right as I said it, I mean, I was thinking to myself, that 2-1 pitch, he knew he shouldn't have swung. He went around. He was a little over anxious, really wanted to connect with another pitch. And so I said, hey, you just got to protect and you got to settle down a little bit. Well, that's exactly what he does. He sees an off-speed pitch. It's over the outside part of the plate. That's a swing and miss pitch 9 times out of 10 to lefties who are trying to pull it. Instead, he sits back, shoots it off the end of his bat, breaks his bat, but gets a hit out of it.
Trey Cruz takes a ball low to start off his third plate appearance. Grounded into a fielder's choice in the first, hit on the hand on a 1-2 count in the third. He loaded the bases for Barron Radcliffe with 2 down. Radcliffe then went down swinging. Check swing from Cruz. He went around 1-1.
Looked like a called strike either way. Whether he went around, whether it was on the outside corner, great pitch from Eder. Got a lot of movement on it as it broke over the outside part of the plate.
Eder now working from the stretch. Doors haven't attempted a stolen base yet tonight. Way inside as Cruz moves out of the way. Gets the advantage in the count, 2-1. Trey Cruz started the summer as the 2-hitter. It was him and Cantrell. Cantrell led things off, and then Cruz was mainly hitting in the 2 spot. But with some more extra base hits for Cruz, he's become the cleanup man. Swings at the 2-1. It's fouled amongst the fans.
Sorry, David, but Trey waggles that bat a lot over his back ear. And you might think that it throws him off a little bit. Like a pitch like that maybe slows down his hands just a little bit as he's moving it so much, has to bring it back behind him before he follows through with his swing. But it generates a lot of movement, generates a lot of bat speed, and it's why he's been able to get a lot of hard contact recently.
2-2, hard contact over towards third. Fielded and thrown on to first, not in time. Even with an accurate throw, Cruz would have beat it out. Coming off the bag was Zach Britton on the throw from Eddie McCabe. 2 on and nobody out.
And that's one of those off-speed pitches that's inside that he is lined up perfectly on. Turns on it, shoots it right into the ground. A lot of movement on it thanks to that wiggling of the bat, and he puts it so far deep behind the third base bag that there's really not much you can do as a third baseman. I mean, McCabe came up with it and everything, but by the time you're throwing it all 180 feet, Trey got enough speed to really leg out a hit.
Here's Barron Radcliffe, 0 for 2 with a ground out and a strikeout. Trying to make up for his last at-bat. He was frustrated after he struck out on 3 pitches to end the third. Beautiful sunset beginning here in Orleans, Massachusetts, with the sun setting to our right. First pitch to Radcliffe swung on and missed. Off speed that was low and outside, but fooled Radcliffe, 0-1.
Yeah, Eder's been attacking Barron a lot below the knees.
Yeah.
You know what? Radcliffe is swinging at them, so he's going to keep going below the knees. I'd say lay off a couple and see if he gives you some more of those pitches that he wants you to swing at.
Doors already with 8 hits. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Same sort of pitch. And again, Radcliffe is down. No balls and 2 strikes.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the lefty-lefty approach. You know, you can't see the ball as well coming from a lefty when you're a lefty hitter. So Eder is going to that pitch a lot, and Barron is chasing for it because it seems like he doesn't register that it's going to sink below his knees until he's swinging the bat.
Zach Deloach already in scoring position. Nobody down. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He went off speed 3 times for the first out of the bottom of the 5th inning, top of the 5th.
That was just a great approach against Radcliffe. You know that he likes to swing at low pitches, and he kept everything outside as well. He had Barron lunging at just about everything, including that final pitch, which he kept just above the knees. So it was definitely, you know, in the strike zone in that area, but he kept it a hair off the plate, forced Barron to reach for it, and got another swing and a miss. So 3 straight swings on a couple of lunges from Radcliffe. Great job by Eder.
Hitters 5, 6, and 7 tonight have struggled. Double steal attempt on the first pitch strike. No throw from Emery. Great jump from Deloach and Cruz. They're on 3rd and 2nd respectively with 1 out.
And that was a fastball right down the middle. So Claunch was taking all away. He knew his guys were stealing, and they were probably stealing because Eder was paying them no attention. So they thought, we'll take it. And they got such a great jump because he wasn't looking at them at all that Emery really had no shot, even if it was a fastball.
Doors had 1 stolen base last night. They now have 2 on the double steal. Troy Claunch broken bat back towards Eder. He looks back Deloach at 3rd. High throw onto first base, but no problem as Britton tags the bag. 2 down.
Worst case scenario for the Commodores right there. Klonch looked like he got good contact. Another low pitch that he lunged at, hit it off the end of the bat. And if he doesn't break his bat, I don't think that one, leaves the infield, but I think it gets just past the mound, and Deloach is probably able to take home with it. But instead, it stays right there for Eater for an easy scoop and throw on to first.
Hitters 3 and 4 started off this fifth inning with back-to-back singles. Radcliffe strikes out. Klonch grounds out. Langworthy takes first pitch off speed below the knees. 1 ball and no strikes. Langworthy's got some good contact on the ball tonight with a flyout to right and a flyout to center. Hitting 172 coming in to this evening. Third-year Commodore. Swing into left field. Max Troiani is there, barely has to move, and he makes the catch. What great fight from Jake Eater after allowing back-to-back singles. He retires 5, 6, and 7 in order. The Doors score no runs on 2 hits, no errors, and they leave 2 stranded. They've now left 7 stranded in their last 3 innings, but they're up 2-0 on the Firebirds as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. You're listening to the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Urgent care is now available at 4 Cape Cod Healthcare locations: Hyannis, Falmouth, Sandwich, and Harwich. Open after hours and weekends. Staffed by ER physicians. Expert care when you need it. Learn more at capecodhealth.org/urgentcare.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Eight, 9, and 1. Keegan, Marcano, Hurtubise. Home half of the 5th here at Eldredge Park. We've got a nice sunset, but we can't really see it.
It seems like it's the case at so many ballparks.
Yeah. I mean, you're not on the beach, right? So you're not, looking out onto a field usually to the right.
This sunset, okay.
Ballpark.
You ready for this?
All right.
You ready for this absolute bullseye? This sunset looks like strawberry sherbet. The orange right below, it's like a dullish orange,
yeah,
almost
I can get
yellow,
on board with that.
And the pink up above with some blue involved.
Yeah, we've got some stripes. So if you start over above the left field trees, it's sort of a darker blue. It's not too dark yet because that sun is still up. As you move towards the right side, you get some stripes of grayish pink, then a little bit brighter pink as the first pitch from Majinski hits Dominic Keegan on the inside shoulder. First hit by pitch for Majinski, puts a base runner on with nobody out. I do want to finish this sunset picture, though. As we get some brighter pink and then some lighter blue, sort of speckled with that light pink clouds. And then as we get towards the sun setting, it's a light orange, I'd say.
You're a verbal artist.
Thank you. Well, we got to do our best because these sunsets in late July and early August are amazing on Cape Cod.
They're pretty awesome. We've seen some good ones, and
you don't sound as enthused.
It's just we never get to see the full glory.
You know what we should do? When there's a sunset like this, we call time in the game. We put everyone on each team bus. We go to the nearest field or ocean. We look at the sunset for 10 minutes and we come back. Check swing to Julio Marcano is outside. 1 ball and no strikes to the 9-hitter.
That sounds awfully efficient.
You down?
Sure.
All right, cool. I'll pitch it to Trundy.
Yeah, let's convince the managers.
Dominic Keegan started off this half inning. He was hit by the first pitch on the left shoulder. Majinski has only issued 1 free pass tonight with the hit by pitch. He still hasn't given a walk up yet. Second ball is at about the ankles of Julio Marcano, who singled in the 3rd. He was then thrown out on that weird pickoff on the 3rd base line.
Yeah, if Marcano wasn't thrown out there, would have come around to score on the next batter. who came up with a single. So kind of hindsight 2020 type deal, but again, Orleans running themselves off the base paths a couple times because that's the second time in as many nights that we've seen an out be recorded at home.
Majinski comfortable with his pitch count right now at 52. 3-to-1 strike-to-ball ratio with 39 strikes and 13 balls. Line drive at Steven Moretto. He taps the bag, double play. How about that? That'll help the pitch count. 2 down now with nobody on.
Everything just keeps coming up, Commodore. I mean, come on. We were saying a lot yesterday about how everything was going right for the Doors, the things they were doing right and the luck they were getting. That one's one of those lucky acts because that was a hard liner that was tailing away towards the first base line. Moretto was playing it perfectly as right when he came off the bag, it went right into his glove. And then unluckily for Dominic Keegan, a big secondary lead, and that turned out to burn him because the ball got to first in a hurry.
Hurtubise watches a ball inside to start off his third at-bat. He's 1 for 2, flew out to left, singled, and made it all the way to third base in the third. Leadoff man from Army. Swings at the second pitch. He's late on the fastball. Majinski blew it right by him, 1-1.
Majinski's fastball has so much giddy up. Like we said, it's hovering around 94 to 96 right now. He's got a 3-pitch approach that is keeping these hitters on their heels. The fastball with that zip, the cutter that looks like a fastball but tails away, and then he drops the hammer with 2 strikes. He has been so effective.
The 1-1 is a strike. 1 and 2. Majinski has not gone more than 5 innings this summer. His last 4 starts, 5 innings on the nose. His whip is just .58. Ground ball tapper leaks foul.
Yeah, helps when you have thrown 14 balls compared to 43 strikes to keep that whip down because obviously not a lot of guys get hits off of him. He's so hard to hit those pitches, and he is just threading the needle every time. He's got pinpoint accuracy all summer long and in this game included.
Wroblewski pitched 5 shutout innings in his start last night. Majinski trying to match it. The 1-2 to Hurtubise. Just poked foul. Good piece of 2-strike hitting to stay alive.
Jacob Hurtubise with one of those 2-strike swings where you're saying, please make contact and please go foul because that was a just swing with the wrists completely. Seeing that pitch come across, it looked like it was a strike, so he just thought, I can't do much with it. The best I can do is try again, and he's able to get that.
Defensive swing from Hurtubise gives him another chance. The 1-2. Poked over towards first base. Long run for Moretto. Majinski's over. He taps the bag just in time. Beat out the speedy Hurtubise down the first base line. And after a huge double play turned by Steven Moretto, the Orleans Firebirds are blanked yet again. No runs on no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. Carmen Majinski, 5 stellar innings, and the Firebirds still trail 2-0. We head to the top.
Baseball Factory, a proud partner of the Cape League since 1994, holds over 1,000 events nationwide for players in both high school and middle school, including 3 training weeks here in the Cape. Baseball Factory alumni have played on every Division I college program across the nation, with thousands drafted and more than 500 who have made it to the majors. Visit baseballfactory.com to learn how you can build your way to greatness.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Top of the 6th inning, red-hot Steven Moretto, followed by Tim Tawa, and then Hayden Cantrell due up here to start things off for the Doors. And a new pitcher for the Orleans Firebirds. It's Angelo Smith from the University of Michigan.
We've seen Angelo Smith before. That's starting to become a recurring theme as we enter into the final half of this season, final third of the season, the home stretch. But Angelo Smith from the University of Michigan pitched a lot just like the starter today. He now teammates with the starter Eater. Now they, after being rivals in the final stretch of the college season, they were Vanderbilt and Michigan respectively. This Wolverine, though, saw him on July 20th. That was his one and only decision of the summer. He got the loss when he threw an inning of work, allowed 2 earned runs on 3 hits, and recorded a strikeout. So Falmouth really got to him in that inning. Turned out to be the game-winning runs in just a 3-1 ball game. First pitch comes in for a ball to Moretto, but on the summer so far, a 5.40 ERA.
Smith has pitched 1 1/3 his last 2 times out, and he hasn't given up an earned run in his last 2 2/3 total. Second pitch to Moretto is a strike at the knees to even the count 1-1. Moretto with a double, a home run, and 2 runs scored. He's the reason the Doors are up 2-0 as Smith delivers with that long windup as a lefty and tags the black for strike number 2, 1-2.
Imagine being Kelly Nicholson and saying, okay, my starter just won a national championship, and now I'm going to go to a reliever who was in the national championship game for the other team.
Not bad.
Power move.
Ball high from Smith. 5'9", 165. He's got a pretty small frame. He brings his chest and torso way back towards second base on the windup and delivers. Curveball, strike 3. Big swing and a miss from Steven Moretto for out number 1 to start off the 6th.
I love that curve from Smith. He's got the big looping windup, and then he had the big looping curveball as well. It seems to be so effective for a guy who's kind of a soft-tossing lefty, but when you can keep it over the black like he did right there, can really tie up Moretto, and he was able to.
Here's Tim Tawa, 1 for 2 with a strikeout and a single. Hitters 8 and 9 with 3 of the 8 hits for the Doors. Tawa hitting well as of late. Fouls off the first pitch, back into the backstop for strike number 1. Doubled yesterday, as well as a home run. Single here today, so he might have a cycle across 2 games. Is there a term for that?
No.
No? Oh, well.
Sorry, Tim.
Second pitch, check swing, appeal down to first. He went around. Tawa doesn't like it. He takes a long look down to Rick Emerson and is now trailing in the count 0-2.
Smith's looking really good right now. Again, soft-tossing lefty was got to by the Falmouth lineup in his first time.
High fly ball, deep left field, long run for Troiani. He can't get there.
But right now it looks like Smith definitely has the Commodores number. As these pitches, they seem to be just kind of looping right over the strike zone in the best spots. Even if you're making contact, it's like Tawa just did right there, where you get way under it and you foul it away towards the left side.
Smith has got that camo hat perched on an angle on his head. Here's the 0-2. One hopper over towards short, fielded quickly by Whitcomb. Throw on to first in time, 2 down.
This was the bottom of the order that was 3 for 4 against Eater. They go to Smith, and now they fall 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a softly hit ground ball. So he's clearly doing something right, looking pretty good against some of the best hitters.
Commodores with 2 runs on 8 hits, 1 error. No runs on 5 hits, no errors for the Firebirds. Eater's final line in his 3rd start of the summer, 5 innings of work, 8 hits. That's by far his highest hit total this summer. First pitch to Cantrell's a strike. 2 runs, both of them earned, 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. Right now is on the losing end if the score holds. Cantrell shows bunt, it skips in the dirt, 1-1. Hayden Cantrell 1 for 2 today, fly out, single, and a walk. On deck, Blake Dunn. Smith delivers way inside, and Cantrell takes it for a ball.
Don't give Hayden Cantrell a couple of balls to work with, because this guy just worked so many walks recently. He was not walking a lot early in the season, was swinging to just about every first pitch he saw to his ABs, but lately he's been getting on base constantly.
Strike number 2, right at the knees on the inside black. Hayden Cantrell looks and talks to Alan Liberdoni. chorus of "Do It Again" coming from the Orleans dugout. Ground ball left side yet again. Moving over is Whitcomb. High throw. Off the bag is Britton. But the tag was applied, I believe, as Emerson said he was out, I thought.
No, he made a safe call, I think.
Thought I saw the fist flash, but I guess not. Cantrell reaches first base for the third time tonight and keeps this inning going for Blake Dunn.
Hayden Cantrell getting on base again. Doing it in a little bit of a weirder way, thanks to a throwing error, but once he's on base, then anything can happen.
Blake Dunn, the righty center fielder. 0 for 3 tonight with a strikeout looking and 2 pop-outs to second base. He calls for time. Now we have a car with some headlights on out in right field, so Rick Emerson, the first base umpire, flashing down towards that pickup truck.
Yeah, Blake can't see anything, I bet, right now, because that thing is shooting right into his face.
So yesterday I found out that Orleans, back in the 70s, they used to have a park that was facing north, or excuse me, facing right west. And the sun would set directly into the hitter's eyes.
Sheesh.
That's why they rotated this direction of the field. That's why it's 434 to dead center.
Oh, interesting.
Smith now working from the stretch for the first time tonight. Fastball low and away, ball 1. Blake Dunn from Western Michigan had an outstanding sophomore year with a .374 average, 71 hits, 9 doubles, 5 home runs. Second pitch, he dodges out of the way. It's 2-0.
You know, it took him 30-some-odd games to get his first home run of the summer, but boy, was it a long one. Probably still waiting to fall. I think he hit it all the way into Dennis.
Smith looking back, Cantrell, who's at first. He's going. Swing and a miss. Throw down to second base. Couple hops. Cantrell is in safely. Third stolen base of the night for the Falmouth Commodores.
Whoa.
They're saying batter's interference, as Blake Dunn is now still talking to the home plate umpire. They call him out.
Again, second time he's been called for batter's interference in the last 3 games. And there were a lot of gripes from the Falmouth dugout, and rightfully so. Now Jeff Trundy is going to talk with Alan Liberdoni. I didn't see him get in the way at all. I mean, that was as clean as a throw that you could get from Rob Emery. He even spiked it. We saw when Blake Dunn had it before. This is wacky.
We'll try to listen to the conversation with Jeff Trundy and the home plate ump. For now, we'll go to the bottom of the 6th on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
The 99 Restaurants has 9 real-size entrees for only $9.99. They're big, hearty portions you can count on all day, every day, like the new short rib tacos or New England fried shrimp. The 99 Restaurants, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
Cape Cod Coca-Cola thanks you for supporting the Cape Cod Baseball League and for refreshing yourself with ice-cold Coca-Cola products. We offer over 400 different beverage choices on Cape Cod to quench every thirst, and more than 150 are low or no-calorie options.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Welcome back to Eldredge Park, bottom of the 6th inning after a batter's interference call ends the top half of inning number 6. Still 2-0 Doors. Still David Korzanowski and Danny LaRose here with you on this beautiful Friday evening. And a new pitcher on the mound for the Falmouth Commodores, and by new, I mean new. This is Christian Edwards making his first appearance of the summer.
Yeah, he was just activated, boy, I think about 2 days ago. Only arrived on the Cape about 2 or 3 days ago, right in the thick of that storm and tornado fest we saw just a couple days back. But Edwards from Jacksonville State, a big 6'3" right-hander, originally from Alabama. Rising junior with the Gamecocks, coming off of a 2019 where he sported a 4.99 ERA over 30 2/3 innings of work. Strikeout numbers were impressive, though. 47 Ks, only 23 walks. Again, that's 47 Ks over 30 2/3, so he's definitely a strikeout pitcher at faster than a K per inning.
Edwards with a 4.99 ERA last year, a 7-5 record, 27 appearances, all of them in relief.
Racked up a lot of wins for a guy who is...
He had a lot of wins and a lot of saves. He
Yeah.
led the Gamecocks in saves with 7. He was their closer. 30 2/3 innings of work. And he had really good stats. I mean, only 23 walks to 47 strikeouts, so about 2 Ks for every walk.
I think I know why he was the closer.
Yeah. Well, he comes in middle relief here in a 2-0 ball game, but it might feel like a closing situation with just a 2-run lead for Falmouth. He'll be going up against the top of this order for Orleans and Zach Kokoska, Max Troiani, and Zach Britton, hitters 2, 3, and 4. Edwards, a man who pitches from the stretch even with nobody on base. First pitch is a strike, and it's fouled away. 0-1. Edwards could be another key cog for the Falmouth Commodores in the last week and a half of the season, as well as the playoffs. A fresh arm. That's music to Mike Landry's ears.
Yeah, you can use all you can get, and he's a great fresh arm to have.
He'll be a junior next year down at Jacksonville State. Second pitch is a big curveball, and it drops in for a strike. That really had some 12-6 action.
Yeah, I mean, like you were saying, it's great for Mike Landry, and so often you see these late additions coming from D2 schools, maybe just local guys in Massachusetts that they can pick up. And nothing against those guys, they're great players. But to have a guy at Jacksonville State, which is a very competitive baseball school and as highly touted as Edwards, is great to have down the stretch.
Ground ball and a hard swing from Kokoska, but it's tapped down the third base line. Christian Edwards, as you said, from Hartselle, Alabama, went to Hartselle High School. Takes a long look into Troy Clonch, getting acquainted with one of his new catchers before this inning started. Kokoska, the right fielder, 0 for 2 today. Curveball, slapped down the first base line. Weird hop from Moretto. He fields it and takes it himself, 1 down.
I'm really liking Steven at first base today.
Too.
He's looked pretty good.
He's looked darn good.
We saw him turn that double play on a liner. We've seen a couple of tough ground balls he's had to field. That one especially, probably the toughest with the weird hop and then the long run to first base. Kokoska got there in a hurry, but he was still beaten by a step. And Steven was saying before the game how he does not like to play first base.
Right.
He was not looking forward to his next time playing first. It turned out to be this very day. He comes to the field, sees the lineup, sees he's playing first. Turns out that, he may not.
Because he said he didn't like it.
He may not like it, but he's looking just fine there. He's earning himself another spot.
Righty-righty matchup as the curveball breaks too far in front of the plate for Max Troiani. He's a guy trying to break a little mini slump. He went 3 for 4 2 nights ago against Harwich in Game 2 of the doubleheader, but was hitless in the game before that and hitless last night and so far tonight. Second pitch, big curveball in for a strike, 1-1.
I think I know Edwards' favorite pitch.
I think I do too. He has been pounding that curveball.
Yeah, loves to drop the hammer and keeping it inside to righties, which can oftentimes lead to some pretty deep fly balls. But when you're keeping it right there, it's going to tie him up.
The 1-1, another curveball. It's high and inside.
Yeah, he's really trying to tie up Troiani right now. Everything that he's throwing is curveballs up and in. He's trying to make sure that even if he does make contact, at the very best, it's going to be a pop-up. Just got to keep hitting that spot, though.
The 2-1 to Troiani. Fastball low, 3 balls and a strike. This is similar to when we saw Bradley Littleton yesterday, first appearance of the summer in the 6th inning. He ran into a little bit of trouble and was helped out by an outfield assist on what could have been a triple.
Yeah, he let up a couple of hits, saw some real hard contact, but still came out of the inning unscathed.
Troiani, D2 player from Bentley, leading the Cape League in batting average. Wants a hit tonight, but takes ball 4. Gets past Troy Clonch, so Troiani will jog down to first base, but he'll stop there. So first at bat, a ground ball. Second at bat from Edwards is a 5-pitch walk.
And he tried to go with a couple of fastballs after really peppering the inside zone with curves. Wanted to change up the pace, but it looked like he was gripping those fastballs a little too hard. Just started spiking them in the dirt, overthrowing them a little bit. We'll see if he can manage to reel it back in, as, you know, sometimes the nerves can make you a little bit jittery. You're trying to impress your coaches. You're trying to help out your team, show that you belong. You're trying to impress these scouts, and really one of your first opportunity, and it's already late in the summer, so you really want to show something good. And it just looks like it got to him a little bit in that at-bat.
Here's Zach Britton, 1 for 2. Swings at the first pitch, fly ball into right. Deloach has a read on it, makes the catch above his head. 2 down. That'll help settle the nerves.
Yeah, quick outs like that, especially when it's the heart of the order. Get the cleanup hitter to hit a fly ball and get him out immediately. Doesn't get any better now that you have to face Shea Whitcomb. But at the very least, you've got 2 outs to work with, and it's a righty-righty matchup, so it pays out in your favor.
Whitcomb, a strikeout victim looking in the second inning. A single in the 4th. We didn't get you Carmen Majinski's final line. He goes 5 innings even for his 5th straight start. 5 innings of work, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 5 Ks. Ball 1 skips in the dirt and past the catcher Clonch. Troiani into scoring position at second base with a 1-out count to Whitcomb.
Yeah, something about this fastball right now just isn't working with Edwards, and when your fastball isn't clicking, that can really throw a wrench into your entire operation. We hear it from just about every pitcher because it's obvious. Fastball strikes, when you got your fastball working, then you're able to work any other pitch in there and follow it up. The fastball is pretty much the setup pitch for everything else, and when you become too reliant on breaking balls, the hitters begin to realize it.
1-0 to Whitcomb. Orleans Firebirds trying to break the shutout. Here's a high fly ball. It might stay in the infield. It could leak out of play, and it does, just on the Orleans broadcast booth, about 4 feet to our right. That nearly damaged a computer or 2. Some walkie-talkies and phones narrowly escaping damage. I mean, that literally landed about 6 feet to the right of us.
I was ready for that. I was ready to throw off my headset and go reel it in, and then I saw it was about to take them out. So I thought they don't need any more mayhem their way. That is the closest foul ball that we've seen. I mean,
easily.
We are right up along the netting.
It's hard for a foul ball to land here.
Yeah.
Foul ball from Whitcomb makes it 1-1. Here's the 1-1. Big high off speed makes it 2 balls and a strike. On deck, Eddie McCabe. He's reached base twice with reaching on a fielder's choice and a single. Firebirds with 5 hits, but they have yet to score a run. Troiani with a healthy lead over at second base. Cantrell and Cruz at short and second paying him no mind. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Pick back to second base. It's into center field. Nobody was covering the bag. Blake Dunn moves in. So Troiani stays put at second, but Troy Clonch threw down to second right as I said nobody was covering the bag, and it went into center.
I like the approach from Clonch. He thought, why not? You know, he's looking at the runner, seeing how far he is, just assuming that his fielders are going to be there. But with 2 outs and now 2 strikes against the hitter, they're not going to be focusing on him too much. They're just focusing on being in the right spot for a potential ground ball. So I love the approach from Clonch, but just one of those things where kind of got tunnel vision and shouldn't have thrown it.
2-2, 2 outs, runner on second base. Commodores have allowed just 1 earned run against the Firebirds in now 15 2/3 innings. Check swing. Late appeal down to first. He did not go around. Full count. That fastball had some extra zip from Edwards.
Yeah, he went up and in with it, decided to climb the ladder, so clearly trying to rebalance his fastball approach. We saw a ton skipping in the dirt. Now he misses a little bit high with it. Got to just get it down the middle, I think, with that zippy fastball.
Troiani still with a big lead. Single would likely score him from second base. The 3-2. Fastball. Foul.
That's exactly the fastball I was hoping for. Goes down and in with it at the knee, so it would have been a strike. Great job swinging by Whitcomb, registering it. Is just able to make a piece, but I mean, that fastball is so quick that I think if you can pull a Zach Brixey and say, hey, I'll throw it down the middle, I dare you to hit it.
Whitcomb with a 314 average last year at UC San Diego. 288 average this summer with the Orleans Firebirds. Still 3-2. Edwards delivers. Curveball, strike three, got him looking. Edwards goes back to his favorite pitch and gets his first punch out in a Falmouth Commodores uniform. Orleans Firebirds, no runs on no hits, no errors, and they leave a runner stranded on second base. 2-0 Doors as we head to the final 3 innings on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Welcome back to Eldredge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. Falmouth Commodores leading the Orleans Firebirds 2-0. Zach DeLoach will lead off for the Doors. It's the heart of the order: DeLoach, Cruz, and Radcliffe, with Angelo Smith still on the hill for Orleans.
I think the intensity in this game has gone down a little bit, but it's still been another close game that the Commodores are in during their winning streak. We've seen them win a handful of close games. This one no different.
First pitch to Zach DeLoach misses down and away. Well, what was it? 5 of the 8 games were decided by 2 runs or less?
Yeah.
Yesterday wasn't. That was the biggest win of the streak. 1-0 hits the inside corner to DeLoach, and Zach so far 3 for 3 with a pair of singles and an RBI double in between. The 1-1. Fly ball into deep right field, but Kokoska is there, and he will make the catch the first time tonight that Zach DeLoach has been retired.
3 for 4, not a bad day at the office. Still probably could get another at-bat in the 9th inning. As now Trey Cruz comes up, he has a hit himself in the 5th inning.
This middle of the lineup has been very solid for Falmouth. DeLoach and Cruz, 4 hits between the two of them. 5 times they've gotten on base. First pitch swinging is Cruz, takes a big hack at an upstairs pitch and comes up empty.
That's his weakness. I think, it took me a while to find it. There's not a lot of holes that you can poke in Cruz's game, but he really swings at that high pitch quite a bit.
0-1 from Smith, goes down and in with it, and this time Cruz lays off. Angelo Smith worked a pretty stellar 6th inning, faced 4 batters because Hayden Cantrell reached on an error. The 1-1 to Cruz, down and away. And then Cantrell tried to steal second. Blake Dunn was called out for batter's interference for the second time in 3 days, and it was definitely a questionable call.
Yeah, not often we see Jeff Trundy out arguing, but he did take a stroll out to behind home plate to talk with Liberdoni.
That pitch comes way up and in, so Cruz, easy to lay off that high pitch. Angelo Smith now up to 25 pitches. 14 for strikes, 11 for balls. Here's the 3-1. Misses outside for ball 4. Second base runner now has reached against Smith. It's Trey Cruz getting a base on balls.
And Smith, a guy who does not walk a lot of batters, just 3 walks in 6 2/3 innings. Prides himself on his control, has doubled up the strikeout number to his walks. But the Commodores have had a great eye at the plate as well. I don't think we've talked about that enough. They're really seeing the ball well.
And just about every strikeout has been a swinging strikeout. Save a couple. First pitch to Barron Radcliffe is taken outside. He struck out swinging twice so far to be 0 for 3. But by my count, only 1 looking strikeout. Barron working on a 6-game hitting streak, looking to extend it to 7 if he can make solid contact. Cruz is running. The throw down to second is spiked on the grass. The tag applied, not in time, as it rolled pretty quickly into the awaiting glove of the shortstop Shea Whitcomb, which kind of paid off for Orleans, but Cruz just quick enough.
Well, on that play, you saw a low throw from Emery that skipped on about 4 hops over to second base, and that was one of the reasons that Dunn got rung up for batter's interference, was because the Orleans Firebirds, broadcasters, players, and coaches alike were all saying that Dunn hit him on the follow-through, and that's why it was a low throw. Same exact throw. Radcliffe was nowhere near in his way.
Radcliffe takes a huge hack at a big breaker on the outside corner and goes down swinging for the 3rd time in a row. He drops to 0 for 4. And now Troy Claunch will come up to the plate with 2 outs and a runner on second.
And this has been where the Commodores have struggled, is hitters 5, 6, and 7. Combined 0 for 10 now. Radcliffe with 3 strikeouts, Claunch with 1 of his own. Langworthy's flown out to every outfield position. He's hit the ball well, but just can't find the gaps right now.
And they've been coming up with a ton of guys on base, too. Zach DeLoach has reached base 3 times, has never scored, as the first pitch is swung on and missed by Claunch. And then Trey Cruz has reached base now 3 times. First 2 times, he couldn't get past second. Troy Claunch, a strikeout, flyout, and groundout victim. Smith from the stretch fires home the 0-1, and he misses up and in. Trey Cruz stole second base, right now not showing any inclinations to take third. He's being held on close as well by the second baseman Marcano. This pitch misses, and it squeaks between the legs of the catcher Emery, and he did not know where that one was. Took 3 circles around with his head, looking for where it was, about 5 feet behind his feet. And that allowed Trey Cruz to take third base without a throw.
Yeah, kind of a weird play from Emery behind home plate. He's had a little bit of a tough night, especially with those throws down to second.
I'm going to call that one a pass ball. Probably should have been caught, but it wasn't. It was called a ball just off the outside edge. Here's the 2-1. Big breaker that swung on and missed by Claunch. Count now even. Cruz only 90 feet away with the Doors leading by 2. And yet another pitcher's duel. 2 outs here in the 7th. The 2-2. Down in the dirt. This time it's blocked by Emery's to make sure that Cruz has to stay put. Full count to Troy Claunch. He's due for a hit if anyone was.
Yeah, just that 189 average.
Swings and misses at the 3-2 breaking ball. The Commodores go down swinging in their final 2 batters in the 7th inning, and they strand Trey Cruz in scoring position as they score no runs on no hits, no errors, and leave a runner at third. To the bottom of the 7th we go. It's stretch time at Eldredge Park with the Commodores leading 2-0.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Cape Cod Healthcare is the leading provider of healthcare services for residents and visitors of Cape Cod, with 2 acute hospitals and more than 450 physicians. For more information, please visit capecodhealth.org. Cape Cod Healthcare, expert physicians, quality hospitals, superior care.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Bottom of the 7th inning about to get underway at Eldredge Park in Orleans. It's Eddie McCabe, Rob Emery, and Dominic Keegan, 6, 7, and 8 in this Firebird lineup, going up against Christian Edwards, who in his first inning of work, just a frame ago in the 6th, faced 4 batters, allowed a walk, but came out of the inning unscathed. It'll be Edwards again here in the 7th to face this bottom of the lineup.
Yeah, I like the move. Edwards looked good in that first inning. You got to preserve the arms as much as you can with these double headers coming up. Littleton yesterday in a game that was a lot closer at the time than it ended up being, right? Because the Doors added 3 more runs. It was 3-0 at the time. Littleton looked a little bit shaky, so they pull him and go to Sean Mullen. Leave Edwards out there a second inning.
So Christian Edwards, part of that arsenal of arms that they're trying to preserve, as the Commodores are now staring at 2 doubleheaders in the next 3 days. A doubleheader tomorrow, 1 game on Sunday, and then a doubleheader again on Monday. Christian Edwards taking his time from the stretch, now fires home. A fastball up around the neck to Eddie McCabe, who's 1 for 2. McCabe singled his last time up in the 4th, but stayed put at first as the next batter after him struck out to end the inning. Eddie has now reached base safely in 16 straight ball games. The 1-0 on the inside corner, fastball for a strike.
And McCabe has kind of been stifled by Falmouth. He was 5 for 6 in starts before coming up against the Commodores, and now he's just 1 for his last 5 against the boys in black.
Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball that's clubbed over towards second base. Hayden Cantrell plays it on a couple of hops. His long looping throw onto first is in time. McCabe is retired on a 4-3 putout. Eddie now on the summer in the same vein, David, 1 for 9 with 4 strikeouts against the Doors.
Wow. Yeah, and I mean, those stat lines are probably becoming more and more common around the Cape. I mean, the way that the Commodores pitching staff has been performing, they're 4th in the Cape League in ERA, but you got to look at the last 2 weeks. I mean, 9 earned runs in 8 games is absolutely insane.
Rob Emery will now come up to the plate. He made the final outs of both the 2nd and the 4th. Ground out and then a strikeout. He's now 2 for his last 12. First pitch, fastball just a hair below the knees. Called a ball. Rob Emery, a rising redshirt senior at the University of San Francisco. Originally from San Francisco, California, so making the trip all the way out east. 1-0 from Edwards, swung on and missed, just fired the fastball right past the swing of Emery.
And this bottom of the order struggled more for Orleans as well. Edwards had his hands full in the bottom of the 6th, going up against hitters 2 through 5.
Emery, a highly touted catcher entering his redshirt junior year. He was nominated to the Buster Posey Award watch list. Hit .320 with 5 home runs for San Francisco. Right now hitting .263 as he watches a fastball come up and in for ball 2. Was nominated to the All-Western Conference second team. Edwards now set with that glove right around the letters on the stomach of that jersey. The pitch fouled back into the screen. It was another fastball. This time Emery had it lined up, but just couldn't make solid contact.
And Edwards is a guy whose strategy really doesn't change too much with 2 strikes. He doesn't try to get too cute with that third pitch and the punch-out pitch. He got it once in the 6th inning, but also threw it over the plate for Kokoska on the ground ball. I'm impressed with his maturity.
2-2 count. Edwards taking his time, now kicks and fires.
Whoa.
Went with a breaking ball, but it looked like it slipped right out as it sent Troy Claunch leaping and rolled to the backstop.
Yeah, so his strategy really doesn't change much with 2 strikes, right?
Sometimes the execution is a little bit off.
A little bit.
It's one of those Rick Ankiel type pitches, but haven't seen that too much from Edwards in his inning and a third on the Cape. Staring back in towards his battery mate. Emery staring a strikeout in the face, also looking at a walk potentially. Here's the 3-2. Fastball cut on and missed, strike 3. Went up and in with another heater, and this time he gets the K. 2 up, 2 down in the 7th.
I mean, the Commodores pitchers must just be feeding off of each other, right? It's one of those environments where you see your peers doing so well, it inspires you and motivates you to be that much better. You can see it on hitting staffs that are really getting hot. You can see it on athletic teams. You look at any team that's getting hot, some guys who might be slumping feed off of that momentum. Commodores pitching staff, the starters look each other in the eye. They say, "You did this last night. That inspires me to go out and do this tonight." And it is not stopping. There isn't one hiccup.
You know what they say, hitting is contagious.
Right.
Well, evidently, pitching is contagious if you're wearing the maroon and black. We know that that's the case with guys like Majinski and Aleman, where they're saying, hey, you got to do this or else, I'm going to not talk to you, which was one of the things. Franco told Carmen, if you let up a hit, I'm not talking to you tomorrow. And Carmen went out and did not allow a hit. That was his first appearance against the Firebirds today. He was just as effective. He did allow a couple hits, but didn't allow any runs. Commodores still leading 2-0. After a conversation between the designated hitter Dominic Keegan and the third base coach Jamie Quinn, the first pitch of the at-bat comes home up and in to Keegan for ball 1. Maybe a flashback for Keegan back to the 5th inning when the first pitch that he faced was a fastball up and in that he wore off the shoulder. This time he's able to dive out of the way. Here's the 1-0 to the righty from Vanderbilt, taken down and away for ball 2.
And I think Edwards just has to work on that pitch count. He starts with a couple balls sometimes. Most of his counts go into 2-2, 3-2. Take his game to the next level if he gets ahead 0-2 and 1-2.
He loves that curveball. Wouldn't it be great to throw it on 0-2? Swing and a miss on a fastball. Keegan looked like he was just out ahead of it, so maybe Edwards took a little bit off of it. 2-1 the count nonetheless.
Just 28 pitches for Edwards, but 15 strikes, 13 balls. Not exactly where you want that ratio to be.
He's gotten the first 2 outs of the 7th inning, and nobody stands on base. Here's the pitch. Fastball at the knees for strike number 2. Keegan couldn't get the bat off of his shoulder.
I think he's going to go to the curveball here. Got Emery on a fastball swinging with 2 outs.
We've seen him drop that 12-6 hammer a couple of times. We'll see if he goes to it here. Edwards is 2-2. Goes with the curve, but it's tapped foul up the third base line.
Yeah, and Keegan was waiting for it. He sat back, just got a piece of it to stay alive in the count.
Seems like the Orleans Firebirds have kind of gotten to know the scouting report a little bit against Edwards. They know he throws that curveball pretty constantly with 2 strikes. 2-2 still the count with 2 outs and nobody on base in a 2-0 game. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball that sits upstairs and another full count. Keegan still without a hit on the summer. He's 0 for 2. Reached base for the first time the last time he was up with that hit by pitch. Now a chance to reach with a walk. Edwards looking for K. From the stretch. Rocks and fires. Fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3. Back-to-back 3-2 counts, back-to-back heaters to get swinging Ks. Christian Edwards works a 1-2-3 inning in the bottom of the 7th, and we'll head to the top of the 8th. Still 2-0 Doors on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League.
For sales and rentals of Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game.
Welcome back to Eldredge Park. Just about to start the top of the 8th inning. Danny LaRose and David Korsanowski here on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. Tim Tawa due up third in this half inning. And we're going to bring in our own Katie Florio to let us know something that Tim does unique to most hitters. Has to do with his eyes. Katie.
Thanks, Danny. And yeah, this is something you don't hear every day. Tim Tawa uses something that could be called a vision card. It's a card with 2 pictures on it, and what you are supposed to do is really just stare in and focus on those pictures. Tim said essentially your eyes work separately than the rest of your body, but the card helps your eyes work together to see one image. Therefore, it's supposed to help you pick up the image of the ball better when you're on the field. He says it's something schools across the country are starting to get into. Tim's been doing it for about a year and a half now. It's a routine he's gotten into and something he really likes, so he'll definitely continue to do it.
And it seems to be working out in the last couple games because ever since the Doors have come to Eldredge Park, Tim Tawa is 3 for 6. Has a single today to be 1 for 3. Yesterday he was 2 for 4 with a home run and a double. Again, he's due up third. First it'll be Langworthy, followed by Moretto, and then Tawa. 7, 8, and 9 in this lineup for Falmouth here to start the 8th inning. Doors holding on to a 2-0 lead, so they're looking to add some insurance as they did yesterday. It was 3-0 Falmouth yesterday entering the 9th. They registered a couple more runs thanks to a couple home runs to make it a 6-1 final score.
And they're going to have to be using those vision cards and adopting a new strategy against David Steele, new pitcher for the Orleans Firebirds. He's from Northeastern. Hasn't given up an earned run this summer. Only 4 innings of work. He was a late addition in early July. Also a defensive change, David Avidia now catching for Rob Emery.
So Rob Emery's day is done. David Avidia will be the battery mate to Steele. Steele, his last time out was in that 3-1 loss at Gov Fuller Field. Second time these two teams faced, and the first time Falmouth defeated Orleans. He threw an inning of work, allowed a hit, but did register 2 strikeouts, allowing no runs. Austin Langworthy has gotten solid contact all game long, but he's 0 for 3, a fly out to every single position in the outfield for Lang. That batting average entering this ball game at 172, still with 10 hits only on the summer. He's been striking out a lot less recently, and that's something that I wanted to talk about with Austin, as the first pitch of the night from Steele is a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. Austin has 1 strikeout in his last 4 games played. And something we see from a lot of guys is when they're struggling, they're striking out a lot. It seems very straightforward. And then, you know, when it shows that when they're starting to show that they're, you know, going to get more hits is when they start striking out less and getting solid contact. Usually there's a little bit of growing room, still getting out as he takes a ball down and in, like Austin is right now, but you're getting good contact getting out. Something's got to give.
Yeah, exactly. When you put the ball in play, you're going to find the holes. I think it's pretty much simple as that. If you're fanning on pitches or taking a little bit too much, then you don't even give yourself a chance.
Right. And Langworthy has shown that lately he's been doing just that. It's just a matter of when those holes will be found. Here's the 1-1 from Steele. Soft fly ball into shallow left field. That's going to be the shortstop coming down with it, Whitcomb. So 1 up and 1 down here in the 8th.
Commodores without a hit since the 6th inning. That was a single from Cantrell. Relievers looking good. Smith, pretty good appearance for him. He goes a season high, 2 innings of work, no earned runs, no hits, only allowed 1 base runner on a walk.
Steven Moretto will now be the hitter, and like Tim Tawa, he's been red hot today as well. 2 for 3 with a double and a home run. Did strike out swinging the lone time he had to face Angelo Smith. First pitch, he goes around on a big breaking ball from Steele. No balls and a strike to the Sacramento State Stinger. Steven entered this ball game 1 for his last 14 with 5 strikeouts in his last 11 at-bats. This is a whole new page that he's turned with those extra base hits. 0-1, down and away. Moretto versus Steele, a West Coast guy versus an East Coast guy. Moretto from Sacramento State, Steele we mentioned from Northeastern. The 1-1, fastball taken way outside for ball 2.
Steele's got that big motion where it comes way across his body. Ball moves from the left side of the plate to the right, so away from righties.
Pitching from the stretch with nobody on base and 1 out. Comes set at the belt. Now Roxon fires the 2-1, another breaking ball that misses below the knees. 3 balls and 1 strike to Moretto. Don't want to give a friendly hitter's count to him. He's got a guy with a lot of power. Only 2 home runs on the summer. But you look at his school statistics, 8 home runs as a freshman, 9 as a sophomore. He's got a lot of power in that bat. The 3-1. Fastball just a hair off of it as he fouls it back into the screen.
Yeah, he almost took that thing for a ride. Might have been a triple to deep center if he made contact there. Just a hair below it. Good swing from Moretto.
Steven now facing a 3-2 count. Tawa standing on deck, 1 for 3. Not using the vision cards right now. Steele now comes set, that glove in front of his face, and brings it down to his belt. The payoff pitch to Steven, breaking ball, fouled away. Doors recorded win number 8 in a row yesterday, and Jeff Trundy's 450th win. Right now, they're trying to make it 9 in a row, give Coach Trundy 451, and continue to ride high into the end of the season. They are definitely proving themselves to be the best team on the Cape currently. Just a matter of if they can hold it together long enough. Here's the 3-2 yet again, and it's fouled away. Something we see from Moretto a lot. He's usually working pretty lengthy at bats and making these pitchers work hard.
No question about it. Even when he strikes out, it's usually on like 5, 6, 7, 8, sometimes 9 or 10 pitches.
Right. We've seen a hefty amount of strikeouts from him on the summer. Trying to avoid one right here. The 3-2 for the 3rd time.
Wow.
Taken just off the outside plate, and that's ball number 4. Moretto's going to take first base in one of the best at-bats we've seen all game.
Yeah, 8-pitch AB worked from Moretto, and he's been the best offensively at the plate tonight. Double, home run, 2 runs scored, and he works a walk after a long at-bat here in the 8th, giving Falmouth a little bit of life when the bats were quieter here in these last few innings.
That's only his first walk in his last 8 games played. Steven on first base, taking a sizable lead but not going as a first pitch ball sinks below the knees to Tim Tawa. Falmouth Commodores have now had a runner on base in every single inning except for the 2nd. Haven't had a hit, like you mentioned, though, since the 5th. Tawa looking to break that. He had a single in the 4th, but was stranded on second base. Tim bringing that batting average up the last couple days as he socks one into left field, but Troiani's going to get there in deep left, reel it in for out number 2.
Man, off the bat, thought he might have had dinger number 2 in as many nights. Really hard hit, loud crack off the bat, just kind of a little bit underneath it, and Troiani easily makes the catch.
Tim is definitely swinging a really nice bat right now. His swing looks as smooth as ever. He's making great contact. He's pulling the ball a lot, really registering what pitches are coming out of the hands of these pitchers. Hayden Cantrell, who's starting to swing a much better bat recently, will come up to the plate. He's 1 for 3. Has reached base 3 times thanks to a single, a walk, and an E6. Switch hitter batting from the left side against the righty. Steele watches a fastball up and away for ball 1. Hayden currently sitting at 10 multiple hit games, trying to make it 11. Came into this ball game 4 for his last 25. We mentioned the skid that he had, but as of late, been a little bit better. 3 for his last 11. The 1-0. Swung on and fouled away up behind Route 28.
Cantrell's busting out of the slump a little bit today.
Yeah.
2 hits.
Was that a hit or was that an E6 back in the 6th?
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Okay, it was recorded. I just wasn't sure
No,
if
you're
I
right.
might have had it wrong then.
Still got on base 3 times.
Yeah, and then that's all he wants to do as a leadoff hitter. 1-1, low pitch that he swings at. That was in the dirt all the way, but he obliges, and it's 1-2. One ball, 2 strikes to Hayden Cantrell, the Louisiana Lafayette Ragin' Cajun. 2 outs and a runner on first here in the 8th. Steele kicks and deals the pitch. Breaking ball swung on and missed for strike 3. Beautiful off-speed pitch that Cantrell was way out ahead of, and it's a strikeout to cap off the top of the 8th inning. Falmouth scores no runs on no hits, no errors, and strand a runner on first base. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Still 2-0 Doors.
The Colossal Lobster Rolls are back at the 99 restaurants. Visit today in Centerville, Falmouth, Mashpee, Wareham, or Yarmouth for the best value for lobster rolls on the Cape. The 99, proud sponsor of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Curry College offers 14 NCAA Division III athletic teams in sports such as football, baseball, softball, basketball, hockey, soccer, lacrosse, tennis, cross country, and volleyball. Read about the success of the Curry Colonials and their championship teams. It's all online at www.curry.edu.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com.
David, we've already driven out to Orleans for the 2nd night in a row. Let's drive around some more.
Let's do it. Couple 5 o'clock games tonight. Hyannis Harbor Hawks losing to the Brewster Whitecaps 8-1 out at McKeon Park. Officially the first team who will not make the playoffs. They have clinched the 5th spot in the West Division, and they will be heading home once early August comes. Sad day to be the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. Still just 7 wins on the summer, 29 losses, and 1 tie. Whitecaps still vying for a playoff spot of their own. Catuit Kettleers get back on the right track with a 6-1 win against the Wareham Gatemen. That's good news for the Commodores if they win tonight, because they get a little bit more breathing room in first place. Bourne Braves, after a walk-off last night, fall to the Chatham Anglers 6-2. Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox pile on Joel Boyle in the bottom of the 9th inning. Harwich was up 4-3 in the bottom of the 9th, and the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox add 7 runs in the top of the 9th to take a 10-4 lead. That is tough.
Brutal.
That's not great.
And that's an all-star.
That's an all-star who is having such a great summer. But his problems at Notre Dame, his problems last summer on the Cape were walk numbers. He had a couple walks, gave up some base knocks, and when you throw very fast, that means that you can get hit for extra base hits.
Yep.
That's how it works.
When you throw very fast, the exit velocity is going to be very fast. But good news for the Doors with that Wareham loss. We saw Catuit drop 2 straight in the last couple of days. Now Wareham has lost today. Falmouth 3 points ahead of the Gatemen, who sit at 2nd place, and the Doors in 1st. If they can get a couple more points, they would be, or if they can get this win, they would get a couple more points. They'd be 5 points ahead of Wareham. Caleb Worcester, the new pitcher for the Commodores. The lefty from UConn fires a first pitch fastball below the knees to Julio Marcano. Marcano is 1 for 2. He had a single back in the third and then was thrown out in a rundown between third and home. And then his last time up in the fifth, a line-out double play. Swings and fouls back this fastball into the screen. Worcester, a rising junior with the Huskies of UConn. It's been a pretty constant arm out of the pen for Falmouth. Seems to have a rubber arm as he has racked up good many innings for the Doors out of the pen. The lefty kicks and deals. Misses a little bit below the knees. 2 balls and a strike. Caleb has now 9 appearances with this one on the summer.
Yeah, he's been great. I mean, hasn't given up an earned run since June 23rd.
His 2-1 misses up and away for ball 3. He's got an ERA at 1.54, a 2-1 record. Usually when he comes into ball games, it's for about 2 innings, and if it's not 2 innings, it's usually less than an inning. He's gotten 11 2/3 innings of work over these 8 appearances he's thrown. Marcano waggling the bat a lot behind his back shoulder. The lefty fires a fastball at the belt to the righty, and he gets a called strike.
I like Worcester. I think he's been one of the unsung heroes of this pitching staff of the bullpen. He got the win in what I think was one of the tone-setting wins for the Commodores in this win streak. It's game number 2 of the win streak, July 16th against Wareham.
Payoff pitch misses just below the knees. He went back to the fastball. Doesn't get the strike call from Alan Liberdoni. That's only the 3rd walk allowed by Worcester all summer.
Yeah, but in that game against the Gatemen, went 2 2/3. Allowed 1 run, but it wasn't earned. 6 hits, but he really buckled down when he allowed base runners. Issues a walk to the first batter he faces tonight, and will have to do the same thing in just a 2-0 ball game.
The second appearance of the summer for Worcester, he threw an inning, a third of an inning of work, allowed 4 runs, 2 of them earned, and 4 hits. Only faced 6 batters. His ERA at that point was 7.71, as the bunt is shown and pulled back by Jacob Hurtubise. And then since then, in every outing since, he has wound things down and has an ERA at only 1.54 entering this ball game. Hurtubise has reached base once. He's 1 for 3 with a single back in the third. Plenty of speed from this leadoff man from Army. 5'11" lefty against the lefty Worcester. Here's the 1-0. Line drive into left field. That one is going to get down for a hit in fair territory. Rounding second and heading into third is Marcano. Into second base with a double is Jacob Hurtubise.
Just a 2-0 ball game, so this game's still very much within reach now. Leading run at the plate for Orleans. That's great hitting from Hurtubise, just pokes it into the opposite field.
Zach Kokoska is not going to be the hitter. He was the man originally slotted into the 2-hole, but after going 0 for 3, he will be pinch hit for.
Yeah, this is Josh Zamora, the guy we saw in the in the 2 spot yesterday.
So Josh Zamora in yesterday's ball game was pinch hit for by Zach Kokoska in his final at bat. Kokoska ended up getting a hit. Previous to then, Zamora was 0 for 3. We'll see if Kelly Nicholson can get the same magic right now, taking out an 0 for 3 guy in favor for someone who will just probably get 1 at bat. Zamora, a batting average of 156, does have 9 RBIs. Righty-lefty matchup. Worcester the lefty from the stretch. First pitch, fastball on the inside corner for a strike.
Zamora 155 average this summer, and he's a guy who has struggled at the plate, just 12 hits, and he's been here pretty much all summer.
Zamora from Nevada, originally born in Foothill Ranch, California, coming off of a 2019 where he hit .320 with 8 home runs and 38 RBIs. 0-1 from Worcester, ground ball left side. This will be fielded cleanly by Tawa at third. The throw on to first in time. Smartly staying at third is Julio Marcano, so the ground out will not amount to an RBI for Zamora, and there's 1 out here in the 8th.
And this right here is the biggest step out of the game. 3-hitter, Max Troiani. Leader in the Cape League in average coming into the night. Worked to walk his last time up, but 0 for his last 7 before that. He's got 2 runners in scoring position. He's a guy with 12 RBIs.
Troiani's average fell 17 points when he went 0 for 5 yesterday. Right now, as you mentioned, he is 0 for 2. Calls for time. Tying run is on second base. Less than 2 outs here in the 8th, so things are definitely interesting in Orleans. This has been a competitive ball game since the outset. It's been all doors, however, leading by 2 and shutting out Orleans so far. First pitch to Troiani, taken down and in, nearly hit him on the foot, but he pulls it away.
Yeah, and he could have stayed put, gotten plunked and loaded the bases, but he wants to hit the ball here.
Max walked back in the 6th. He leads the team with 18 walks. Right now looking at a 1-0 count as Worcester taking a long look into Troy Clonch. Finally will step off the rubber, and they'll cycle back through the signs.
Yeah, and he's a guy who likes to take his time. Very deliberate with his pitches, looks in, wants to do whatever he can to keep these hitters off balance, play some mind games.
Is 1-0. On the inside corner for a strike. That is some paint.
It's a great pitch. I think you got to stay low to Troiani so that if he hits the ball, he's hopefully keeping it on the ground. You get a similar play from what Tawa made for the first out, and you're in good shape.
Max Troiani, a temporary player with the Firebirds, earned himself a permanent contract in mid-July because of how awesome he was. He leads the Cape in average. Worcester's pitch, ground ball towards short. That one is going to be recorded by Trey Cruz. Throw on to first isn't out in time to beat Troiani, but the run will score. Julio Marcano was running right out of the gate when he saw that ground ball go towards the middle of the infield. So the score now 2-1 in favor of Falmouth with a runner on third and 2 outs in the 8th.
Maybe not best case scenario, but pretty darn close. And that's a fantastic play by Trey Cruz, because he's lucky to get that out there. I mean, He fields that ball up the middle, spins, and has a perfect throw on to first just in the nick of time. That could have been an infield hit. That could have been one that scooted into the outfield, but instead it's the second out. Now you don't have to worry about that runner on third base. Just get the third out.
It'll be Zach Britton at the plate for Orleans. First pitch he watches as a strike on the outside part of the plate. Britton, the cleanup hitter, is 1 for 3. Had a single his first time up, then a couple flyouts. Trey Cruz with an excellent play at short just now. He's probably one of the best fielders Falmouth has to offer. Able to reel in a ground ball that was about to sneak into the outfield. Britton calls for time. That did bring home the first run for Orleans, who were shut out through the first 8 innings yesterday before squeaking past a run, and now we're shut out through the first 7 innings today before getting a run home. Lefty-lefty matchup. Worcester looking in. Comes home from the stretch. Breaking ball cut on and missed. It's quickly 0-2.
And that's a great start against the cleanup man. He fired 3 balls to Julio Mercano before issuing the walk, but now he's really settled in and found the strike zone.
Britton 2 for his last 13. Has struck out in 14 straight games. Right now down 0-2. Worcester trying to make it 15 straight. Caleb looks back the runner at third, but he's going to focus at the plate. His 0-2. Outside, skips away from Troy Clonch. Just popped immediately out of the mitt, but he scampers past the ball in time to make sure that the runner couldn't come home. Runner at third is Jacob Hurtubise. He's got a ton of speed, and he has been definitely attempting a throw over from Worcester. Been skipping a lot along that line, dancing around Moretto, or excuse me, that's Tawa at third, not holding him at all, giving him a lot of leeway. Worcester now looking in towards Clonch, going through the signs. The Yukon Husky facing a Louisville Cardinal in Britain. Here's the pitch. Downstairs for a ball, again dropped by Clonch, but it stays in front of him. As intense as you could ask for a regular season game. Orleans in third place in the East, trying to make up some ground on the two teams ahead of them who have busted far and away. The Commodores at first place in the West with the best win percentage on the Cape. They're trying to make it 9 in a row. Worcester's 2-2. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Went a little off speed with the slider, and Zach Britton swung right through it as the Commodores get out of the jam, maintaining the lead. They allow 1 run on 1 hit, no errors, and strand a runner on third base. We'll head to the top of the 9th. It's 2-1 in favor of the Doors.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com. Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development, online at www.curry.edu.
Red Shirt Fridays is a national program created to acknowledge, honor, and support our troops who put themselves in harm's way to defend our freedom. In support of this program, the Cape League teams will be wearing a specially designed red jersey every Friday. Support our troops and join us by wearing red each Friday.
Top of the 9th, about to get underway here at Eldredge Park in Orleans, Massachusetts. Danny LaRose and David Korzenowski along with you on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network. The Commodores leading the Firebirds 2-1, trying to make it 9 wins in a row. Would love some insurance here in the 9th. They've got Blake Dunn leading things off. First pitch from Steele. He shows bunt, pulls it back, and watches a breaking ball hit the outside corner of the plate for a strike.
Commodores win streak quickly becoming historic. It's tied for their longest since 2007 with a win tonight. It would usurp that 8-game winning streak back 12 summers ago.
Steele's 0-1. Again, bunt shown, pulled back. This time it's called a ball.
Stats on the Cape League have been kept online on a system and website called Point Streak since 2008. In the Point Streak era, the 2 longest win streaks are at 10 games. Orleans with 10 in a row in 2017, Katuitt with 10 in a row in 2012.
Doors are quickly approaching that territory if they are successful in these next couple of ball games, as a swing and a foul ball in and out of the mitt of Evidia makes the count 1-2 to Blake Dunn.
Doubleheader against the Bourne Braves tomorrow, a team that's kind of had Falmouth's number. The Braves 2-1 against Falmouth.
One-two count to the Western Michigan Bronco. Dunn 0 for 4. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball, cut on and missed, strike 3. Beautiful pitch from Steele as he continues to be excellent. Worked a strikeout and a flawless inning in the 8th, and he starts off the 9th with another K.
I do want to make a quick correction on my Around the Cape League before. I misread a Yarmouth Dennis tweet.
That's on them then.
4-4 ball game out in YD. The Red Sox tied it in the top of the 9th. And then the Harwich Mariners did not score in the bottom half. Harwich's first tie of the summer.
There we go.
Because no extra innings.
Everyone has a tie and nothing is okay. Swing and a miss on the first pitch, breaking ball to Zach Deloach. No balls and a strike to the Aggie from Texas A&M. Every team has a tie. There are no extra innings being played, as you mentioned, just to preserve arms because of all the makeup dates that still have to be played in these next couple days before August. Steele's 0-1 to Deloach, taken up and away. The reason I say that's on them, because when you're running a Twitter, if you're not disseminating information that is, just easily digestible and clear, because I read the tweet as well, it looked like 10-4.
Right.
I think they were referring to
the walkie-talkie signal.
Exactly, which is asinine if you're a baseball team.
In a baseball game tweet, correct?
But come on now. Here's the 1-1 to Deloach. Line drive up the first base side, but that just dives foul. 1-2 count now to Deloach. The Doors, entering the 9th inning yesterday, were leading Orleans 3-0. They tacked on 3 more runs in insurance thanks to a 2-run home run from Barron Radcliffe and a solo shot from Tim Tawa. They did not end up needing any of those runs, winning the ball game 6-1. Right now, this is a 1-run game, so they would love a little bit of breathing room. Even if you don't need those runs.
Right.
I mean, a 1-run score is a lot more stressful on a pitcher than anything else. The pitch. On the inside corner, strike 3 called. Looked like he was about to hit Deloach in on the hands, but he's punched out anyway.
Can't believe it, and Steele has been great. Coming in relief in the 8th inning. He's retired now 5 of the 6 batters he's faced. Just issued 1 walk to Steven Moretto.
Trey Cruz will come up to the dish. He's reached base 3 times. A hit by pitch, a single, and a walk in his last 3 plate appearances. He's officially 1 for 2. First pitch to the switch hitter batting lefty, taken up and away. Trey came into this ball game batting .307 with 2 home runs and 19 RBIs. If he gets out here, he'll still be improving his average. The Doors looking to put together a 2-out rally as the first 2 batters of the 9th struck out. Steele has been excellent all summer, a 0 ERA. The pitch, breaking ball, swung on and missed, 1-1.
Juicy pitch. Trey Cruz batting as a lefty for the first time tonight because this is the first righty that the Firebirds have thrown in Steele.
Cruz so far hitless in these last 2 games, or excuse me, 1 hit in these last 2 games against Orleans. He was hitless last night. The pitch, another swing and a miss on a beautiful breaking ball, down and away, 1-2.
Yeah, Cruz has that big swing sometimes, especially as a lefty. Comes up with a couple big fans.
We've seen some power from him as a lefty. He has a home run back at Gov Fuller Field way back in June thanks to that big swing. Here's the 1-2 from Steele. Breaking ball, caught on and missed, strike 3. How about that for David Steele? Strikes out the side in the top of the 9th, and we'll head to the final frame. Orleans trailing by 1. They just need 1 to tie, 2 to win. We'll be right back on the Falmouth Commodores Baseball Network.
The Falmouth Commodores would like to thank Franklin Sports for their sponsorship of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Franklin is yet again proud to be the official batting glove of the Cape Cod Baseball League. Throughout the summer, all 10 Cape League teams are wearing their own custom team batting gloves, courtesy of Franklin Sports. To order your favorite team's design or to create your own, visit franklinsports.com/custom. Enter code CCBL20 for 20% off your purchase. From Cape Cod to the major leagues, only the best hitters in baseball wear Franklin gloves.
Baseball Factory, which has proudly supported the Cape League for 20-plus seasons, conducts baseball trainings, tournaments, and showcases at over 1,000 events nationwide, providing players with world-class instruction and help with college recruiting. The Baseball Factory program leads to future success both on and off the field for players in both middle school and high school. It's never too early to start. Learn more at baseballfactory.com. Learning at Curry College extends beyond the classroom and is embedded in all they do. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers and active citizenship with a global perspective. Explore undergraduate majors, minors, and concentrations, including new majors in accounting, biochemistry, and software development. Online at www.curry.edu.
Bottom 9 set to begin from Orleans. The Falmouth Commodores leading the Firebirds 2-1, and the Doors will turn to their closer, Zach Brixey. So far, 6 for 6 in save opportunities. This would be a huge number 7.
It would, but you also got to be careful. It's just a 1-run lead. It doesn't get any closer than this. And he's given up 2 solo bombs this year. Once against YD in a throwaway appearance. It was late in the game. The Doors were already down 5-0. And then against Orleans, it was a 3-0 lead for the Commodores. He gives up a solo shot with 2 outs in the 9th. That would tie the game here. And the Commodores will have no chance in the 10th because no extra innings. So this is as big of a save opportunity as he's had all summer.
This bevy of scouts got the game that was built for them. It was Majinski versus Eder. Those starters were spectacular. Majinski really impressed. Now it's up to Zach Brixey to impress, and he really made a show in front of the scouts a couple nights ago at home against Wareham. That was also a 2-1 game. He threw in the 9th inning and struck out the side. First pitch to Shea Whitcomb is a fastball up and away to the shortstop, who's 1 for 3.
In that game against Wareham, threw 94 to 96 on the fastball. His off speed 81 to 83. So do the math, that's about a 13-mile-an-hour difference. 2,800 rotations per minute.
The 1-0, ground ball right at Trey Cruz. He comes up with it cleanly. His throw on to first on a line to Moretto. 1 up, 1 down to start the 9th.
That's a hard hit ground ball, and it gets to Cruz in a hurry. He's got to get that glove down. He's got to field it, make sure he doesn't bobble. And he's able to take his time on the throw because it got to him in such a hurry. But any ball hit in play, you know it's getting there fast, and you're kind of holding your breath if you're a Commodores fan.
He's just so smooth. I mean, Trey looks so sure every single time a ball is hit to him that he's got no problem. Eddie McCabe will come up to the dish with 1 out and nobody on. First pitch he sees from Brixey, a breaking ball that's nubbed foul. This is Zach's 10th appearance, his first 9 appearances, all for 1 inning of work. He has allowed only 2 earned runs all summer, and as you mentioned, it's because of solo home runs. One of them coming against this Firebirds squad in a 3-1 win for Falmouth. The 0-1. Breaking ball does not break. It stays up and in for ball 1.
McCabe's reached base twice with a single in the 4th inning. Reached on the fielder's choice in the 2nd. Easier said than done, but just try to put the ball in play and hope it finds a hole or eats up a fielder.
The 1-1. Fastball cut on and missed, and you can hear my partner. That was some gas out of the right hand of Zach Brixey.
Well, I think the reason I reacted the way I did is because McCabe was sitting off speed.
Yeah.
And by the time he realized that it was a fastball and he started his swing, he was way late on it. And Brixey just made him look foolish.
1-2 count to McCabe. Brixey winds and fires. Goes with a fastball at the knees, gets strike 3 called. Beautiful pitch from Brixey, painting the inside corner, and the Firebirds are down to their final out.
Unreal placement. Right at the knees, inside part of the plate. And McCabe's just taking, hoping that it's inside or low, but pinpoint accuracy, 95 on the gun here at Eldredge.
I mean, how do you react to that? 95 is, it's not the fastest he's ever seen, but still, with that type of placement, not much you can do. Rob Emery is the last hope for Orleans as he watches a breaking ball come over the inside part of the plate.
This guy's unreal. This guy is unreal.
Went with a curveball to start off this batter and broke up the pace perfectly. Brixey's 0-1, up and in for a ball. One ball, 1 strike to the catcher. This is Avidia, not Emery. Avidia getting his first licks of the ball game. Emery prior to this was 0 for 3. Here's the pitch, and he spikes a fastball off the chest protector of Claunch.
Yeah, just released it a little bit too late. Kicking himself after that, and now he has to settle back in. Can't lose focus here with 2 down. This is when he gave up the solo shot to Orleans in the 3-1 win for Falmouth, was with 2 outs in the 9th.
David Avidia, a 170 average and no home runs on the summer. 2-1, high fastball that swung on and missed. That one was nowhere near the strike zone, but Avidia obliged.
94 on the gun.
Orleans down to their final strike. Brixey with a 2-2 count in his favor and nobody on base. Falmouth looking for their second 2-1 victory in their last 3 games played. The closer kicks and fires home the 2-2. It's popped up on the infield into foul territory. Moretto giving chase, but that one's going to get up and out of play.
And you see, even on some weak contact, right, he just barely got a piece of it. That was up in the air for about 5 seconds.
Avidia with a very defensive swing on the low heater. Not much you can do when Zach Brixey has you 2 strikes and he's got a fastball that's lights out. Looking for his 7th save in as many tries. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball on the inside corner, strike 3 called. Avidia doesn't like it, but it was about belt tie, and it caught the plate, and Zach Brixey, now perfect in save opportunities. He is 7 for 7, works a 1-2-3 inning in this 9th to preserve a 2-1 victory for the Doors, their 9th win in a row.
Doors, 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 doors. That's 9 doors, and this team is unstoppable. Pitching staff again, Danny, 1 earned run. Now in their 9-game winning streak, 10 earned runs as a staff. Unfreaking believable.
They have now won the season series over the Orleans Firebirds 3-1. Lost the first game these two teams played against each other. Won the next 3 in convincing fashion. 3-1 a couple of nights ago at Gov Fuller Field. Last night it was 6-1. Tonight it's 2-1. This Orleans offense just anemic against the Falmouth pitching, which we've been talking about it all winning streak long, continues to impress. And again, every single pitcher they threw out tonight was just as good.
Well, yeah, and I don't even fault Orleans hitting at this point. I mean, the pitching staff has gone up against Wareham. They've gone up against Hyannis. They've gone up against Orleans. Who else have they beaten in their winning streak? Brewster. I mean, they go up against these teams, and they are just unbelievable. It doesn't matter who they're going up against. They have been the best they've been all summer, the best pitching staff on the summer, best pitching staff on the Cape, and arguably one of the best stretches for a Cape League team in recent history.
Carmen Majinski was brilliant in his start. He gets his 2nd win of the summer. He went 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. Boy, that's a symmetrical line. Getting the loss is Jake Eater. He went 5 innings, allowed 8 hits, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, and 5 strikeouts. But the one pitcher I really want to harp on is Caleb Worster.
Yeah.
Coming into the 8th inning in a very tricky situation, faced runners on 2nd and 3rd with no outs after letting up a couple of hits, but boy, did he buckle down.
Yeah, and I'll say it, I think he got himself into that tricky situation because he issues the walk and then he gives up the double to Hurtubise. But what does he do? He's got runners on with nobody out. He buckles the heck down. Gives up a ground ball and a great play by Tim Tawa to look over the runner at 3rd base. Throws on to 1st. Run scores on the Troiani ground out, but then huge play against Zach Britton, striking him out swinging. He comes down, and he's just so composed, right? He's been so good for this team. It's been great.
Worster did not flinch, and neither did Steven Moretto. Steven Moretto was excellent for the Doors as well. Came into this ball game struggling a little bit at the plate. He ends up going 2 for 3 with a double and a home run, scoring both runs for Falmouth. So ultimately, it's Moretto 2, Orleans 1. Steven really, I think, comes down to be the player of the game for the Doors.
Yeah, he was outstanding. He had a double and a home run in his first 2 at-bats, scored both of the runs, and in a 1-run ball game, a solo shot's the difference. He was the player of the game.
So Steven Moretto carrying the offense, Carmen Majinski, Caleb Worster, and Zach Brixey carrying the defense as those 3 pitchers with Christian Edwards in between. All spectacular. The Doors, again, winning this ball game 2-1 as they score 2 runs on 8 hits and 1 error. The Firebirds 1 run on 6 hits, 1 error of their own. Falmouth have now made it 9 wins in a row. They have not lost since July 14th. That'll do it for this broadcast on the Falmouth Commodores Broadcast Baseball Network. For my sideline reporter, Katie Florio, and my producer, Max Trink, and my great broadcast partner, David Korsnowski, I'm Daniel LaRose saying so long from Eldredge Park in Orleans. The Commodores will be back in action tomorrow at Gov Fuller Field for a doubleheader against the Bourne Braves. Be sure to tune in on our YouTube Live. Thank you again for tuning in tonight, and we'll see you in just under 24 hours.